5th race coming up, right?
That's good.
The Breeders' Cup starter ran yesterday, Hot Rod Charlie, second in the juvenile at 94 to 1 odds.
Looked like he was going to win for a few jumps. Got Stormy, highly decorated 5-year-old mare, holds the record for the fastest mile ever run on grass at Saratoga. Is this her final career start? Trainer Mark Casse says, not so fast.
Number 13, Texas Wedge. He's trained by Peter Miller, who won this race 3 years in a row. Peter adds blinkers as his horse. He said he wants to get 2 more links out of him. I guess that's what he figures he needs to make up. He's ridden by Florent Giroux, who won this race the last time the Breeders' Cup was here in 2015.
And finally, Extravagant Kid. The strength of schedule is his. Knocking heads with the best in the division all year. Leinster, Diamond Oops, Totally Boss. Umberto Rispoli rides for the first time. And that's your field for this 13th Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint as we check in with our handicappers. Edzo, Matt, I don't know what to say with this one. Just Godspeed.
Look at this board. Unbelievable. We talked about this in the Breeders' Cup betting show. Look at this board here, Matty. Where are you going?
10, Bombard. The only horse who was part of the pace in his most recent run at Kentucky Downs, going 6.5 furlongs, that was still in the race late. I think he's going to be forwardly placed in a race that doesn't seem like it has a ton of early gas. I think it goes a long way.
Two's going to go.
I'm not saying there's going to be. I'm not saying he's going to be by himself, but he's going to be forward, and I think that's where you want to be, going 5.5.
To me, the best value on this board here is the 14 Extravagant Kid. Was second to Leinster, one of the co-favorite right now. Got beat this much in the last race. Extravagant Kid did beat Leinster a couple of races back, so I'm hoping for a quick pace. I don't mind the outside post position. And after mentioning my granddaughter, I think my daughter and my wife want new shoes. So let's hope that Extravagant Kid can hit the board. And if they do, they're going to get a lot of Jimmy Choos. Lafitte?
Let's see if old guys do rule. 2 7-year-olds in the field, and you picked them both. Matt going with Bombard, Edzo with Extravagant. The Turf Sprint is next. Weeks after the 9/11 attacks, goes without saying why it meant so much. As we welcome you back to Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky, gearing up for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Updated odds with Imprimis, the lukewarm favorite, at 4-1, Leinster 9-2, Alexandra at 5-1. Randy, subject to this daily racing form formulator fact, Europeans in turf sprints.
Normally when you see grass races, you think Europeans, but not so much the sprints. Look at this, 0 for 13, just one top 3 finish. That was Diabolical in the race's first running. He finished second back in 2008.
I haven't had a chance to say hello to Nick Luck just yet.
Lafitte, hi, I'm down at the 5 furlong start where they start the turf sprint here, and I echo Randy's point. The Europeans have a woeful record in this race, but Glass Slippers, the filly that runs for Europe here, for Kevin Ryan, who trains in North Yorkshire in England, might be a little bit different. I asked Kevin Ryan today, I said, why did you bring her over when we can't win this race? And he said 2 reasons. First, she shows all her best meaningful form in the second part of the year. She's a filly that blooms as the season progresses. And second, she loves travelling. Her 2 big Grade 1 wins have come out of England, in France and Ireland. She's thrived since she's been here in Kentucky. I can see her here. She's incredibly relaxed. Tom Eves, who rides her, is looking forward to the assignment. He's schooled her around the bend, so he knows she'll turn left-handed. And I said to the trainer, are you confident she'll handle the track? And he said she's been round Chester in England, which is a sharp, tight left-handed track, and she coped with that okay. Lafitte?
See how she handles it. Nick, Glass Slippers. Here's a look at number 6. That's Glass Slippers. And you saw the jockey cam presented by Lexus. Imprimis, guys, as they load into the gate.
Yeah, you're going to get speed from the 1 and the 2, Big Runner and Just Might. And so Imprimis is probably going to get a rail trip. The question is just, will they be able to get out? Will Irad Ortiz be able to get him into the clear? He should have a nice stalking trip close up.
Leinster pictured.
See, the reason I like him, when so many horses are closely matched, he can adjust to the pace. He can lay second, third, fourth. He's never really led and won, but he can adjust to whatever's going on inside of him. He'll never be very far off the lead, and he'll get that 3-wide stalking trip most likely.
Alexandra, deep closer, took some early action in the wagering, still well fancied.
One of the questions in here, how much speed is there going to be in here? This is not like your typical turf sprint with a lot of blazers. Will there be enough speed to set up horses like Alexandra and Guts?
We're about to find out.
number one, is one of the speeds. He doesn't break real fast. His first 5 jumps are not real fast. So if he doesn't show speed, then there's really not going to be much.
Larry Coleman standing by with a call of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
As Extravagant Kid comes up to the outside stall here and goes in, they're all in line. They're off in the Turf Sprint. And it's an even beginning. Bombard is going out there for the early lead, and rushing through on the inside is Intimistic with early speed, and now Intimistic grabs the front. Wildman Jack is there on the outside, then Leinster and Texas Wedge. Got Stormy is in between horses as they continue the run up the backstretch. Then it's Just Might. Imprimis is on the inside. Extravagant Kid is racing 6 lengths off the lead. Outside of horses, Glass Slippers is down toward the rail. Then front run the Fed, Alexandra, Big Runner, and at the back of the pack is Wet Your Whistle as they race on the far turn. And the leader here is Intimistic, making their way to the top of the stretch, and Texas Wedge is circling up on the far outside. Between those two, it's Wildman Jack. These 3 coming into the final furlong. Leinster is there in behind them, trying to roll his Glass Slippers on the inside. Imprimis is coming on too behind a wall of horses. Oh, he had to steady and check. Imprimis couldn't get through. A wild finish here. They're coming to the wire. Glass Slippers has it close to home. Europe's Glass Slippers, the first ever Turf Sprint winner. It was Wet Your Whistle second, and then a photo between Leinster and Extravagant Kid.
In a cavalry charge, all kinds of traffic, it's the English filly who emerges victorious. Glass Slippers in a victory for a European import for the first time in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
I'm going to tell you, there was so much going on in the stretch there. It's hard to know, but I know she was mid-pack early. She found the seam. She found the seam. Imprimis didn't find the seam. Texas Wedge looked like he was primed for a big run. Leinster looked like he was out, and then he comes again late. So many horses at the 8th pole had a chance to win. Of course, she finished best last, which is usually the case with turf racing. Whoever finishes best last wins.
First Breeders' Cup for jockey Tom Eves. First Breeders' Cup win for trainer Kevin Ryan. And as Nick had pointed out, one of the stories about Glass Slippers is that she does tend to blossom the second halves of the year. If you go by the calendar, all 6 of her career wins have come from mid-August or later in the year. So she was doing so well, as you see her moving up between horses here strongly. Why not bring her to the U.S. and take a shot despite the traditional lack of European success in this race?
Bulling her way through there, Jerry.
So here's what it was. It was one horse there, and then Glass Slippers had a seam. Imprimis had a seam. Imprimis' seam closes. Glass Slip, because the horse in front drifts out. Glass Slippers had more room. She was a beneficiary of some moving horses, moving targets through the stretch.
The salute from Tom Eves. And the winning ride aboard Glass Slippers with Donna.
Tom, first of all, congratulations. Your first trip to the U.S. and you managed to pull off a Breeders' Cup Championship race. What does it mean to you to get this win today for Glass Slippers?
Amazing. She's a star. What a training performance by Kevin Ryan. Absolutely brilliant. Brought her on all year. Thanks very much to the owners, Margaret and Terry. Keeping me on out here, and that's a day I'll never forget.
Yeah, Tom, our Nick Luck had talked earlier about how the Europeans hadn't had much luck in the turf sprint so far, but Kevin felt like this was going to be the race for Glass Slippers, and I'm sure you believe that too. Why is that?
Well, Kevin knows his horses like the back of his hand. He said to me the other day, I couldn't be happy with her. She's in great form. Best she's been, and
well, you've ridden her in all of her starts. You would know. What's it mean to be a part of this first win for Kevin, too, his first Breeders' Cup win?
It's brilliant, and a team effort to everybody, back at home, and so many people involved, keeping her right and everything like that. And it's a big thank you and a big well done to everyone.
All right, let's go to Nick Luck, who's with some of those connections.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Donna, I'm with trainer Kevin Ryan, who becomes the first European trainer ever to saddle the winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Kevin, it looked like an uphill battle bringing her here, but you assured me that it was the right thing to do. What gave you the confidence?
Well, she's a filly that thrives the second half of the year. She travels well. I know she hasn't never been this far, but she when she goes to France, she seems to thrive when she travels. She eats good. So it's always a tricky one, but as the week went on, every day we got happier and happier with her. She's been on the track every day, she's cantered around it every day, and you know, Tom said at the bend, every morning she switches leads onto her right leg when she turns the bend. So, and in fairness, he gave her a plucky ride. I think he got a bit of advice from Ryan Moore in the way room there, and thanks to Ryan.
You're not a man to blow your own trumpet, but your Breeders' Cup record so far is a second and now a win. Second with Eastern Newspaper record in the juvenile fillies turf. What is it about this meet that attracts you?
Look, it's any big meeting, and this is what we do the job for, and very lucky to have had some very good horses, and you know, I wasn't able to attend the first Breeders' Cup, but it's been great to come out here, and this filly is very, very special, and you know, and thanks to the Breeders' Cup, they've been absolutely fantastic all week, from down the barns to the hospitality here. They've really made us feel welcome.
Kevin, you seem a bit shell-shocked. I'll let it sink in. Congratulations.
Lovely, thank you.
Kevin Ryan, Lafitte first Breeders' Cup success with Glass Slippers, making history.
And Nick, you could sense that shock, almost that disbelief. But Kevin Ryan, who had Glass Slippers primed for the performance of her career. Look at all those horses, that cavalry charge to the wire. In the end, Glass Slippers emerges victorious and strikes in the turf sprint.
These two horses, Glass Slippers and Imprimis, were head, shoulder to shoulder, right on even terms, middle of the stretch. It's crunch time, and these jockeys have to pick a running lane, so they each have one. Unfortunately, Linster, number 7, comes out and shuts the lane down for Imprimis. Glass Slippers' lane stays open. She gets the golden trip, and Imprimis does not. Lucky he didn't fall.
And we had an isolated replay on Imprimis because, quite frankly, he does tend to get into trouble in his races. We talked about how he needed to find a clear path, Irad Ortiz. And as you can see right here, anything but. This is about as dramatic as it gets right here. It's so crowded, and there's another look at Irad Ortiz. And you can hear him as well. Whoa, whoa. And at that point, there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, these horses in front are getting tired late in the race, and they don't always stay straight. They kind of weave in, and it doesn't take much. They only shifted in a couple of feet, but that's all it takes to close the hole.
He can breathe now. Great. Doesn't do you any good when you're getting shut off like that in traffic. FanDuel payouts. It was that kind of race. And for the English filly, Glass Slippers, and a first European import to win a Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. 10-1 at post time. Wet your whistle. The performance from Wet Your Whistle, closing like a freight train.
On the outside. We expected Alexandra to be the one just closing in on the outside like that, as she typically does, but Wet Your Whistle, he was the one closing fastest. They had too much ground to make up.
This race is representative of what we're going to see the rest of the day. Every one of these races is so competitive. There's not an overwhelming favorite that we'll see in any of the races the rest of the card. Gamine was the solid, heavy favorite all day Saturday.
The essence of the Breeders' Cup. Glass Slippers and a salute. Cheers to the breeders, those represented in this Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Just an accomplishment. Such a big accomplishment to breed a horse to compete on this Breeders' Cup stage. Down to Nick Luck for the trophy presentation.
Lafitte, it's a history-making moment as Glass Slippers becomes the first horse based in Europe to win the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. To make the presentation, I'm joined by Breeders' Cup Limited board member Alex Solis II, and Alex is going to present the trophy here to Terry and Margaret Holcroft of the breeder owners, Bearstone Stud, with their co-owners here, Paul and Paula. Alex, please.
On behalf of the Breeders' Cup, I just want to say congratulations to Team Glass Slippers. We couldn't ask for a more beautiful day, exciting race, and an amazing ride by Tom. Congratulations.
As I said, this isn't just a triumph for owning a great racehorse, it's a triumph for years and decades of creating families. Terry, if you would, I'm sure it's an incredibly special moment for you. If you could just come forward for us. Just explain how much it means to you to have bred this filly as well, and a little bit about the years that have gone into producing a result like this.
Well, we've been breeding racehorses for over 40 years. And obviously it's a great thrill to even be here, let alone win, and to get one that you've bred and raced. I mean, it just means everything to us. We're just absolutely over the moon with it, as you would expect.
And to share it with your wife Margaret and your friends here, Paul and Paula, do you have a message for those back at the stud at Bearstone Stud in Shropshire that are watching on?
Well, I'd like to thank them. They're all watching. I'd like to thank them for all their hard work over the years, and all Glass Slippers has lifted all their spirits this year and last season. So we're delighted to be here, and of course this is we came really because we haven't been able to go racing in England, so we wanted to take the opportunity to see a run here.
Lafitte, Terry Holcroft and Margaret, these are our fans as well as owner breeders, and they are here today to see their homebred filly take down the boys in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
And Nick, it's the difference between a team acquiring a free agent and a homegrown product, winning with a homebred, and you can sense that pride. And for Glass Slippers, a primetime performance in this Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, full order of finish. In the end, just too much. Glass Slippers, the English filly, gives him the slip and wins at 10-1. Randy said it could be that kind of afternoon, handicappers, as we turn the page to the big-ass fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Back to the main track. Two-turn mile here. Current favorite, Knicks Go at 5-2. Art Collector disappointing in the Preakness at 5-2. Sharp Samurai, 16 of his last 17 races on grass. And Complexity overlaid. Morning line favorite at 5-2 at 7-1. Well, you could say those are some pretty big fans, right, here at Keeneland. And humans aren't the only ones who like staying cool, especially during the hot summer months here in Kentucky.
Big Ass fans got their roots in agriculture. Dairy farms, dairy barns, cool cows make more milk. Being right here in Lexington, Kentucky, we found out that horses like to be cool as well.
The breeding shed in June is kind of a miserable place to be when it's 90 degrees outside. It's hard on both the horses and the people in there. The fans in the stalls definitely move air. It's constant fresh air in the barns.
The breeding sheds at Ashford have our overhead PFX fan, so our large 24-foot industrial fan. Both Triple Crown winners actually live underneath our Haiku fan.
It feels like it drops the temperature in there by 15, 20 degrees. We turn them out first thing in the morning, and by midday they're waiting at the gate to come in, and they just want to stand under the fan and stay there for the rest of the day.
Keeper of the Breeders' Cup by Keeneland November. All eyes are on Keeneland beginning Monday, November 9th. By Calumet Farm and by FanDuel. Play on horses and sports with FanDuel.
Jerry Bailey and Cigar in the 1995 Breeders' Cup Classic. That has to put a smile on your face.
It does. I mean, I've thought countless times. I've known that a dozen other riders could have ridden this horse and won as many races. I don't know why I was chosen to ride him, but I'm glad I was.
What made him special?
He was a horse that really wasn't a distance horse. He was a miler, so he was blessed with a tremendous amount of early speed, and there wasn't a situation that he got himself into that he couldn't get himself out to because he had such good early speed, and he always had great position. So races were easy.
Cigar, he'd be 1-9 in this Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Thankfully for this field, they don't have to deep with the likes of the great Cigar, Breeders' Cup Classic winner back in 1995. Updated odds for the big fans. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Knicks Go coming off that record-breaking performance. 5-2 favorite. Art Collector second choice at 7-2. Complexity morning line favorite. Hanging up there at 5-1. Sharp Samurai at 6-1. Former Preakness winner War of Will at 9-1. Post parade. There's Art Collector, Louisville native. Bruce Lunford's homebred. Missed the Derby with that injury. Didn't fire in the Preakness. How will he respond on this afternoon? Number 2 is Sharp Samurai, 16 of the last 17 races on grass. So what's he doing on dirt? Trainer Mark Black said it. Give him the best shot to win a Breeders' Cup race. Sharp Samurai did finish second to Maximum Security on dirt in the Pacific Classic.
Number 3, Silver Dust. You can see where he got his name just by looking at him. He's been an extremely difficult horse to manage. In other words, he's a brat. But trainer Brett Calhoun says he's mellowing somewhat as he gets older.
Somewhat.
Number 4 is War of Will. He's a Grade 1 winner on both grass and dirt. Of course, the last year's Preakness winner as well. The key to his success is relaxing early. If he can get in the first turn and relax behind the early speed, not the rider not fighting him, good chance.
Favorite, Knicks Go. If the name sounds familiar, it should. Breeders' Cup fans, second to game winner in the 2018 Breeders' Cup Juvenile at odds of 40-1. Trainer Brad Cox looking for a third Breeders' Cup victory on the weekend.
So Trainer Calhoun is running both Silver Dust and this 4-year-old Mr. Money, who was 7th in last year's Dirt Mile. He broke a 6-race losing streak in September, winning the ACAC at Churchill Downs.
26-1. Here's number 7 in Rushy. Javier Castellano riding for Mike McCarthy. Same team that struck with City of Light in the 2018 Dirt Mile. Rushy, the Pat Day Mile winner on the Kentucky Derby undercard.
And number 8 is Pirates Punch. He's won his last 2 races just off the early lead. He'll need to try the same thing today to avoid a wide trip into the first turn. It's the first Breeders' Cup for both trainer Grant Forster and jockey Jorge Vargas.
Heard the story from Kenny about Mr. Freeze, feeling good out there. At one point considered one of the best middle distance dirt milers in the country, plagued by inconsistency. Good news, he's very good on this track. Here's Complexity, morning line favorite, overlaid 5-1, owned by Seth Klarman, trained by Chad Brown. Same owner trainer combination that provided us with bricks and mortar last year's Horse of the Year.
No religious meaning here. Number 11 is Jesus's team, third in the Preakness, 10 lengths behind Swiss Skydiver, an authentic name for the son of Venezuelan owner Alejandro Ceballos.
And finally, Owendale, third to War of Will in last year's Preakness, second of 2, trained by Brad Cox, training with Monomoy Girl in the morning, the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff favorite. For handicappers, Edzo and Matt, come on. Edzo, pick up the pace. Audrey Marie needs a new pair of shoes.
Yes, but you know what? Matt's taking this race off because last year, if you remember, Lafitte, he picked a winner and spun the run in a dirt mile at Santa Anita, so we give him the race off. He does like Knicks go. So what I'm going to do, how about we get a celebrity picker in here? We're going to bring in Todd Trupp from TVG, one of the hosts over there at the Television Games Network. And Todd, the Breeders' Cup Mile, your thoughts on this race, and first off, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon.
Edzo, always good to be with you. In truth, we're always hanging together when you're at the racetrack. We love to play the races, and there are 2 races today that are phenomenal on this card from a player's perspective. This, the Big Ass Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and later our parent company, meaning TVG's parent company, FanDuel Fantasy Sports, is sponsoring the Mile on the Turf. They got a contest there. We got to pick the entire order of finish, a free shot at $1 million at FanDuel.com. However, we only need to pick one here in the Big Ass Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. It is the 2 Sharp Samurai, who 2 starts ago ran a good race at 1.25 miles. He's a natural miler. I think he's fantastic. And then don't forget the uncoupled entry in here, Owendale, for trainer Brad Cox. Everyone thinks that Knicks Go is the horse that could deliver him a win here. Don't go to sleep on Owendale, but I'm going to be with Sharp Samurai at a good price in here.
Yeah, Owendale with Brad Cox, as you mentioned. Knicks Go, you're talking about the uncoupled entry, so separate betting interest here. I'm with you, Todd, here with Sharp Samurai. Be really interesting with Art Collector, who was my Preakness pick. Didn't run very well. Hoping that Hernandez gets him out of the gate there and gets along the road, gets some positioning there, and Knicks Go a little head-to-head. But I agree with you at 2 at Sharp Samurai. I love the price at 7-1. So Lafitte, Sharp Samurai is a little heavy with both Todd and I on him.
It's your time. About to heat up. About to get a winner here. A lot of Sharp Samurai love. We'll see how he performs when we come back.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic
at Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. Then in 2022, the best from around the world will head back to the heart of the Bluegrass State at Keeneland Racecourse. So mark your calendar, because no matter where the Breeders' Cup is, you won't want to miss it.
Future is bright for the Breeders' Cup, and can't wait till we can celebrate this with the fans here at Keeneland next year at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club just north of San Diego, and in 2022 right here at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington. And the next Breeders' Cup event is just around the corner. We check the John Deere weather track condition report. Second weekend here in November, and look at the conditions. Picture perfect. 72 degrees. The main track is fast, and the turf course is good. Big Fans Dirt Mile. Just 2 minutes to post. We check the odds. Knicks Go still the favorite for trainer Brad Cox at 2-1. Art Collector 4-1. Complexity morning line favorite 9-2. Sharp Samurai at 5-1, and the Preakness winner War of Will at 9-1. Another look at the favorite there. Knicks Go looking for a repeat effort of his last race here at Keeneland.
On the lead all the way, and he's probably the speed of the race. Usually a dirt mile, you get some sprinters in here trying to stretch out, but and they will show speed, but this is almost all longer horses, routers, with the exception of maybe Complexity. going back down to a shorter distance. So he has the most speed, and I think he will get the lead fairly comfortably. It might come from Pirate's Punch or Complexity, but I think he leads into the first turn. And if he runs back to the race here, he's the likely winner.
His barn is going pretty well.
Yeah, he's red hot.
Brad Cox, as he just saw the 2 Breeders' Cup victories yesterday. Here, Knicks Go, the favorite at 2-1. And then Art Collector drawn inside with Brian Hernandez.
Owned by Louisville's Bruce Lunford, the first Breeders' Cup for trainer Tom Drury, who said he did not have any excuse for his 4th place finish in the Preakness, beaten 10 lengths, which is a bit troubling when they have to fall back on the old, well, he must not have handled the racetrack excuse, right? There is this, though. The best race of his career was 2 races before that when he pulled away from Swiss Skydiver at Keeneland to win the Bluegrass Stakes. Because of the inside post position, Drury says the instructions to jockey Brian Hernandez are going to be to ride him away from the starting gate to make sure you get a good position.
Do we see good Art Collector or flat? Last race Art Collector.
I never like a horse coming off a race like the Preakness in which there is no explanation for a dull effort.
And then Complexity for trainer Chad Brown.
Yeah, he's a horse that you wonder if he can go. He can go a 1-turn mile, but you don't know if he can go a 2-turn mile. Two turns take a little more stamina in a horse. He's the other horse that has speed. He and Pirate's Punch, but I'm afraid that they're not going to use a lot of it early because they're worried that he may not get the distance. So he'll use enough to get into the first turn stalking, but I don't see him challenging Knicks Go on the lead.
Chad Brown looking on, missed a workout a couple of weeks back, had to convince Chad Brown to run him this afternoon. He trained so well in his most recent Breeze, the reason he is in this Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Sharp Samurai in the starting gate.
Yeah, Edzo's horse, you made the point, Lafitte, almost all of his recent races have been on the grass. They had a choice between the grass mile or this dirt mile. They chose this one. They said it's not an easy spot, but it's an easier spot than the regular mile.
Scramble early on, jockeys establishing position, short run into the first turn. As we are all set for this Big Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, Larry Coleman standing by.
Just one left to load here. Silver Dust has been acting up in the starting gate here. He's settled down so far as Owendale walks forward, and they're all in line. They're off in the dirt mile, and there goes Knicks Go, straight to the front. Sharp Samurai is sent hard, and Art Collector 2. Complexity joins them 4 deep as they rush into that first turn in a scramble for early supremacy here. Pirates Punches in the mix, too. A length and a half back to Mr. Freeze, then Jesus' team, followed by Rushy, and on the inside is War of Will. Mr. Money is next, and then back to Silver Dust. Owendale, a late runner at the back of the pack. 21.98, the opening quarter mile. Rocking and rolling up the backstretch here. It's Knicks Go in front. Complexity pressing the pace on the outside second. Art Collector lays just off of them 2 lengths from the front, and now being pushed along as Pirates Punch on the outside. Sharp Samurai is 5th with 5.5 lengths to gain at this stage of the race. They're being followed by Mr. Freeze and Jesus' team. War of Will, a Preakness winner, is 9 lengths behind through a 44.4 half mile. War of Will now with 10 lengths to make up, moving for the far turn. And then to the outside, it's Rushy, Silver Dust, Mr. Money, and Owendale. Knicks Go and Complexity. With 3 furlongs to go, they're a half length in front. 2 lengths clear of Sharp Samurai, who's trying to come and get them from 3rd. And then it's Mr. Freeze underway from 4th. Jesus' team is 5th, and they're into the stretch. And Knicks Go just keeps on going. He's got a 2-length lead with a furlong to run. Complexity is 2nd. Then to the outside, Sharp Samurai trying to put in a bid from 3rd. But Knicks Go is still well clear as they come down to the final yards. And Knicks Go goes all the way in the dirt mile. It was close for 2nd. A photo between Jesus' team and Sharp Samurai. The final time is a Keeneland track record, 1:33.85.
3rd track record to fall today. 3rd Breeders' Cup win of the weekend for trainer Brad Cox. 2nd for Joel Rosario. Knicks Go set those torrid fractions and still good enough to hold on late.
So everybody at home, change all your picks later to horses that have speed, because these fractions were insane in this race, and the leader still held on. It was like a merry-go-round. Nobody made up any ground.
You know what it was like? It reminded you of a horse named Golden Sense, who
won it
in the
twice.
dirt miles
Two-time
won it
dirt-
back-to-back in the same running style. One year he went the half in 44.75. The next year he went the half in 44.80. As fast as he could, as far as he could. This horse is just right now, Knicks Go, in unbelievable form.
So if you scan the whole field when you're going for everybody's riding hard. All the riders are, look at them going hard, going into the first turn. They all want to save some ground, and they know they want to be close. Complexity, Knicks Go. And then they folded, a lot of crowding because everybody's going for the same spot. Sharp Samurai got a squeeze. Look at this. And this is what happens when everybody wants to be close. When the racetrack is so fast that speed carries, nobody wants to be left behind early. So you get this kind of riding.
And if you're as fast as Knicks Go, you could be in front of all that.
That's right, of course.
Exactly. That's what happened. I mean, right now, trainer Brad Cox's horses are just running lights out. Yesterday, Aunt Pearl goes wire to wire, fast fractions. In the juvenile fillies turf, then Essential Quality comes from way back to win the juvenile. Now Knicks Go. It's Brad Cox's world. We're all living in it right now.
And Joel Rosario's as well. Second Breeders' Cup win on the weekend, Donna Brothers.
Exactly. Joel, first of all, let's talk about Knicks Go. This is a horse who was super impressive last time out here at Keeneland, but that was only an allowance race. So did you really believe that he could be this dominant in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile?
I mean, it was, big step up, I know he won so easy the other day with the track record tying everything, and he came today and performed the way he did. Wow, that was very impressive today.
So the fractions up front were 22 and change, 44 and change, flying, and then he just draws out through the stretch. That's another track record. Did you have any idea he was going that fast up front?
Well, I know he was moving good. He's a nice mover, he's moved really nice over the ground. I had no idea going fast. I know I would just have to just let him do his thing. He wanted to go on and do his racing, and he's hanging on in there. So that was very impressive.
Totally different horse coming up in the Classic a little bit later with Tom's d'Etat. He's not going to be the horse flying out front early. What sort of a strategy have you and Al Stahl talked about with him in the Classic?
Yeah, I mean, let's see what Stahl have to say about it, and then we'll go from there. We'll see, see what happens. I know it's a tough race, you got all the 3-year-olds, the best in the country, send up with the other horses too. So, see if we get the trip and we'll see what Tom have to do today.
Plus, you know what they say, the good riders don't need instructions and the bad riders don't follow them. So I'm sure you'll work out a plan. Let's go to Kenny.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much, Donna. He won 2 yesterday. He's won 1 now. He's up to 6 overall in a young training career. Brad Cox, congratulations. What an appropriate name, Knicks Go and Go and Go it should be.
Yeah, he's very fast, and he loves Keeneland as well. So, we picked the horse up last winter, and he really loves it here, and Joel did a fantastic job of asking him to be forwardly placed. He responded well. They went very quick, and he was able to keep going. I think, this was a good race for him, short stretch, a lot of things in his favor today.
Now, as far as when you picked him up, he's a perfect 3 for 3 with you. What has been the big difference in having him so sharp throughout this campaign?
We had a setback with him, after his first win, and, he's a very aggressive horse. He loves to train. We just kind of let him do his thing. He can be very tough to train as well. He's very strong. The rider does a fantastic job with him, and he's a very fast horse.
Any concern when you saw just how fast it was starting out and kept going as it got to the half?
Yeah, for sure. When you saw the 21 and 4 and then the 44, you're kind of like, man, can he keep going? But, once again, I think he's got speed, and it's very good around 2 turns. So, once again, just the short stretch, a lot of positives set up for him today.
A lot of positive vibes to keep you going the rest of the day. You got a busy day ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it.
Good luck to you, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go back to Lafitte.
Brad Cox, the 3 wins. Knicks Go, very fast, very tired. You could hear him huffing and puffing.
And again, that setback Brad Cox was referring to was bone-chipped surgery. After that first start, they thought about retiring him. They didn't know if they could get him back. Brad Cox wasn't even thinking about the Breeders' Cup until this horse breaks the track record here in an allowance race.
He mentioned the short stretch was a help. Hell, he could have won it going to Versailles Road. It wouldn't have mattered with him today.
No catching Knicks Go on this afternoon. 5, 11, 2, 10, 12 in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. A remarkable turnaround. Knicks Go broke sharp. Joel Rosario pedal to the metal. Brad Cox cheering him home. The Louisville native. Knicks Go and a 3rd Breeders' Cup win of the weekend for Brad Cox. Knicks Go from Flag Fall. That's all. Your image yet? just yet, Jerry?
I kind of missed that. Sorry.
You got it. Don't forget. But so that's the thing. Are you going to submit that image first, or are you going to change your pick for the Breeders' Cup Classic? Which is going to happen first?
Listen, if I was jockeying and still riding, I'd try and change mounts in the jocks room. To your point, the favorites have been running according to their odds, but the track is just so fast. That's insane to go that fast early and still hang around. Nobody closing in. I'm going to go with Authentic because he's a speed horse. He gets the speed. He gets the rail. He likes it anyway. It's the shortest way home.
Historically, it doesn't take much to get Jerry to change his picks. Right?
That's okay.
Knicks Go. Sensational in that dirt mile, taking advantage of that lightning fast track and another track record, 1:33.85. Knicks Go 9-5 at post time. What a run from Jesus' team. Third place finisher in the Preakness, 62-1, completing the exacta, returning to 1960. Sharp Samurai, after all that trouble, that terrible start, had to take up going into the first turn, still completes the trifecta. Down to Brittany.
What a performance. Surely one we'll never forget. Congratulations to all the connections of Knicks Go, who stays undefeated in 2020. And for the presentation, Lenny Rhodes, the CEO of Big Fans.
Thank you very much. So I'm on film yesterday picking Knicks Go. So we never had an idea that it would be a track record breaking performance on behalf of the entire team at Big Ass Fans. Congratulations. What a race.
June Park with Career Racing Authority, a big congratulations to you. June, there was talk of retiring this horse prior to these races, prior to 2020. It's been a while since he's visited the winner's circle. How challenging was that decision to bring him back?
Well, after watching the impressive wins like this, we have to consider to race him again. But we have to discuss further with the owner and trainers.
So, not retired yet. I'm sure Brad Cox will be happy to hear that. He's a part of a long-term plan, though, to improve the breeding and racing in Korea. What does a victory on this stage mean for Career Racing Authority?
Well, it's a part of a genomic selection system, and then we use that system with the K-Knicks team at the KRA when we purchased the Knicks Go at the yearling sale. That gave us a good opportunity to become the elite racehorse, and then I'm glad he proved himself today.
Adding a Breeders' Cup win to that tally there. A big congratulations to you, Brad. Would you like to see him back on the track again? No retirement, right?
I'd be good with that.
You'd be very good with that. Congratulations, already having a sensational day. It is Knicks Go in the Big Fans Dirt Mile.
Brad Cox, good with everything right now. The 3 Breeders' Cup victories, the full order of finish. So, yeah, Knicks Go, not named after the New York Knicks, as explained, the Korea Racing Authority. So if you're a Knicks fan and cashed in, you just got really lucky. Knicks Go, just too fast. The track record, complexity right there with him early on, faded to 4th. And, again, Sharp Samurai, that trouble going into the first turn, still good enough, classy enough to finish 3rd in this Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And we salute and cheers to the breeders, all the breeders represented in this Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. For Angie Moore, the breeder of Knicks Go, the winner of the 2020 Big Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And earlier this week, Brittany Urton sat down with supermodel Kate Upton, a Breeders' Cup ambassador and a longtime equestrian who is also taking part in the celebrations from home this Breeders' Cup.
Kate, 5 years ago, you were live on site when Keeneland held their very first Breeders' Cup. What made it so special?
Oh, I love the Breeders' Cup, and I love that park. It's just so family-oriented in Kentucky, and you just feel all the energy. I really wish I could be there this year.
So you will be celebrating from home. Do you have any advice for those that unfortunately can't be on site?
Being at home during this pandemic, I've found joy in celebrating things that I usually don't celebrate at home. It's something I'm really looking forward to is dressing up and getting a hat and being able to have a cocktail while watching the race.
It doesn't matter if you're in your living room wearing a hat, you still can be a part of it. I love that.
Exactly.
Between you and your husband, who's the better handicapper?
I really want to say me because I'm a horseback rider. I should be the one that is able to pick the winning horse, but Justin in 2015 won the trifecta. So right now he has me beat.
American Pharoah, a horse of a lifetime!
I can't let you go without giving us a selection for the Classic of this field. Where are you landing?
I think I am rooting for Authentic and Bob Baffert and staying in the American Pharoah spirit.
You actually got to meet the champion 5 years ago. What was that like?
Oh, it was so amazing to be able to experience it. I also get my hands on American Pharoah, pet him, love him.
Kate, thank you so much for joining me. Have fun celebrating at home. And good luck on beating your husband in the handicapping.
Someone's got to beat him.
Stars. It's a 7-day-a-week, take care of every problem kind of job. You have so few opportunities, and try to come up with that special horse. It feels like it's a dream that sometimes is unreachable. Thank God we came up with Tiz the Law. Twin Creeks was a part owner in Constitution, got us a couple Grade 1 wins, put together that breeding of Constitution with Tiz Viz. And one of the best, if not the best, 3-year-old in the United States.
And Tiz the Law has taken charge.
And to have him run in the Classic in our backyard, and it pinched me.
He's not dreaming. Tiz the Law. He's that good. And for Twin Creeks, the pride in breeding, a Belmont Stakes winner, maybe the pride in breeding a Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Tiz the Law. We'll see later on this evening, the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. There's the morning line. Improbable the favorite for Bob Baffert. Tiz the Law, 3-1, and Jerry's still deciding on his selection because he's going to be changing his pick after what he's seen on the main track, right?
Yeah, speed.
Authentic. Authentic, 6-1. Later this evening on NBC, mile and a quarter Longines Classic with a $6 million purse. We march forward to the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, the most prestigious long-distance turf race in North America on grass for females. There's the field in current odds with Rushing Fall for Chad Brown. Brown with 4 runners in the field, 5-2. Her whole nemesis, Mean Mary, at 9-2. Sister Charlie, familiar name, at 6-1. And the story here is Rushing Fall, in that in Chad Brown's barn, she's always been overlooked to a certain extent. There's always been an elder, more popular mare in Chad Brown's barn for turf stars going all the way back to Lady Eli. Then it was Sister Charlie. Feels like that torch has been passed, and now is Rushing Fall's moment.
Yeah, I don't know how she could have been overlooked. I mean, she was a champion since she was 2, a grade 1 winner at 2, 3, 4, and 5. She uses her tactical speed to always be in position, as she did in Saratoga. I mean, she is a really good, consistent mare, and there's very few chinks in her armor, I'll tell you.
But what about the distance? Can she run this far? Mile and 3/16.
It's stretching a little bit but for this race, it's been as far as mile and 3/8. It's been a mile and a quarter, now a mile and 3/16. I think she can keep going. And she and Mean Mary are the 2 main speeds in here. They hooked up in the Diana Stakes in Saratoga in her last race, and they were a pair as they went across, around the racetrack. Rushing Fall never letting Mean Mary get too far out of her sights. Classic duel down the stretch. Rushing Fall on the outside. Now, she was carrying 4 more pounds than Mean Mary this day and still got the job done. She'll be tough.
Rushing Fall, grade 1 winner at the age of 2, 3, 4, and 5. The favorite, Rushing Fall, Mean Mary, who she has to tangle with once again.
Yeah, again, she'll be the one to catch, named by 92-year-old Lexington owner Alex Campbell after his personal assistant, Mary Venezzi, who insists she is not mean. But ironically, the horse is mean. The horse has a nasty disposition, very tough to train. So how did Gray Emotion try to solve that? Well, he's got an old turf champion named Main Sequence, who's now retired, turned out at Fair Hill Farm. He's a pet. So they decided to put Mean Mary in the paddock every day with Main Sequence to see what happened, to see if he could be like a mentor. And sure enough, she calmed down to the point that now she began to really improve her performances on the track.
Can't wait to see them hook up again. Rushing Fall, Mean Mary, and his Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Down to Nick, who's like wandering aimlessly in the paddock.
I have Ames Lafitte. You can decide whether they're well guided. Here's Cayenne Pepper. She's got gate 14 to contend with. She's this attractive chestnut here, being saddled by her trainer, Jessica Harrington. Jessica is a former Olympian equestrian who is adept at handling horses both in top grade steeplechases and at grade 1 level on the flat. She seeks her first Breeders' Cup victory, but she's gone close twice before. This filly has a chance, but she has a bad post in 14, and she comes here relatively fresh. She was just getting a little bit warm, you could see there. Now, this is an interesting filly. I know Jerry Bailey likes her. This is Audaria, and Audaria is being saddled by James Fanchel, who I think is just... He's still in there in the trilby. You can just see he's bending down, and this is James's wife, Jacko. This is James's first ever Breeders' Cup runner. He's been training with distinction and at grade 1 level for 3 decades. And Audaria was third in the Prix de l'Opera last time. She has a wicked turn of foot. I'm just waiting till the next horse comes past me. This is Rushing Full. My word, she looks well. What an imposing big filly she is, and with a great gleam on her coat as well. I'm going to hop over after my sister Nat, have a quick word with James. James, your first Breeders' Cup runner. You're no stranger to grade 1 success. How's she doing?
Yeah, really well. We had a good week. It's a bit hot for her. I wish we clipped her fully out, but you know, she's done everything we'd asked her to do.
So you'd like to have clipped her coat if you'd known it was going to be this warm?
Yeah, definitely. But you know, she's been very cool up until today. But you know, she's done everything right and been around the track and handled it fine. So hopefully get a good run in the race.
We'll watch our backs, James. Good luck.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
That is James Fanchel. Coming out in front of me here is Civil Union. What do you make of the other fillies in this race?
I haven't really studied them too close.
Too nervous to pay any attention.
Yeah.
Right, let's go and take a look at Terabellum if we can, who is number 7, and I hope she is still here. In fact, she is not still here, but I can have a look at Mucho Unusual in stall 8. Let's talk about Terabellum because you can see her. She's ridden by Frankie Dettori today. She's in the Godolphin silk. Sheikh Mohammed's Godolphin operation. Won this race with Wahida at Del Mar back in 2017. Terabellum is trained by John Gosden of Enable fame. And she may well appreciate this distance today, Lafitte, because it's 1 mile and 3/16, so a little shorter in distance than a normal edition of this race. That's a précis of some of the key European challengers for this, of which I think Terabellum is just the best chance, but the home team is strong.
Agree, Nick. Great stuff. European imports that look very strong in this Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. And you have a former winner of this event. Sister Charlie, who won this event in 2018, began her career overseas. She has been an absolute force for Chad Brown the last few years.
She has a model of consistency. She, as you say, she won it 2 years ago. She was third last year. She seems to have lost a step or two. Of course, you would expect that. She's 6 years old. But she is still a tough customer, and she will come running late.
Chad's going to have withdrawals after this Breeders' Cup. She's retiring.
You're not
Rushing
kidding.
Fall's retiring.
You're not
Udi
kidding.
is retiring.
Something tells me he'll be just fine. Something tells me he'll be okay. Chad Brown, does he have him surrounded in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf? Has the favorite, Rushing Fall, at 5-2.
By John Deere, nothing runs like a deer. And by FanDuel. Play on horses and sports with FanDuel.
There he is now. Triple Crown winner, American Pharoah. The way he electrified the crowd here at Keeneland back in 2015. Great call from Larry Colmus. He did go out in style. And there is American Pharoah's daughter, Harvey's Little Goyle.
Subject of our formulator fact. Now, there have been plenty of European 3-year-old fillies that have won this race, but North American-based 3-year-old fillies like Harvey, 0 for 34 in the Filly and Mare Turf. Now, a little earlier, I mentioned that the European sprinters were 0 for going into the Turf Sprint, and Glass Slippers won, so maybe this is setting up Harvey's Little Goyle for success.
Maybe they're due. Yeah, Harvey's Little Goyle, the daughter of American Pharoah, moments away from a post parade. The bird's eye look of Keeneland Racecourse before this Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Chad Brown and Rushing Fall, 5-2 the favorite. Mean Mary at 5-1. Terabellum, that makes more sense. She is dangerous for John Gosden. Post parade. Here's Starship Jubilee, claimed for $16,000 in 2017, and last year was named Canada's Horse of the Year. What a claim! Currently 10-1. Number 2, Peter Brandt's sister Charlie. This will be the final start of her career. She's always been cut out to be special. She's a champion, Breeders' Cup winner, 7-time Grade 1 winner, first of 4 for Chad Brown.
Number 3, Coolmore's Peaceful, trained by Aidan O'Brien, looking for his first win in this race, coming off a disastrous start at Newmarket on a heavy track. Aidan O'Brien says shouldn't have run her in that race, but hopefully it won't leave its mark.
Number 4 is Mean Mary. She's won 5 of her last 7, and speed is the name of her game. She's never won without being first or second early in the race. Her trainer, Graham Motion, won this race 10 years ago with Shared Interest.
My sister Nat is my sister Charlie's half-sister. This is not the first time siblings have faced one another in a Breeders' Cup event. Leinster and Stormy Liberal did it last year. In this case, a big sister might be a little better.
Here's your favorite, the 6 Rushing Fall. The owner, E5 Racing Thoroughbreds, has her entered in the Keeneland sale next week. It's expected to be her last race. Now she's going this distance for the first time.
Tara Bellum, world-class connections, owned by the international racing and breeding powerhouse Godolphin, trained by an icon, John Gosden, and ridden by a living legend, Frankie Dettori.
Number 8 is Mucho Unusual. She comes off a Grade 1 win at Santa Anita, leading gate to wire on a very firm turf course. In fact, all of her California races are good. Her only bad race is when she came here in July, finishing 8th, beaten 6 by Charging Fall.
Harvey's Lil Goyle, there she is, the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Challenge winner right here at Keeneland, trained by the Hall of Famer Bill Mott, 10 times Breeders' Cup champion trainer. Number 10, Civil Union, also trained by a Hall of Famer, Shug McGahee, another Breeders' Cup Challenge winner, having scored in the Grade 1 Flower Bowl in New York at Belmont last month.
11 is the European Odaria. You saw Nick talk to the trainer James Fanshaw. Odaria ridden in her last 2 starts in France by Eoritz Mendizabal, who tested positive COVID-19. Now the jockey Pierre Charles Boudot.
Number 12, Lady Prancelot. There she is, California import for trainer Richie Baltus, 5 for 22 lifetime, but important on this turf course, 1 for 1 here at Keeneland.
Number 13 is Nay Lady Nay. She's 2 wins and 4 starts this year, both losses. She was a victim of wide trips. From this post, she may get another one, so she's got a safe and turn going into the first round, going into the first turn. Rather.
Don't sleep on this one. Cayenne Pepper, 10-1, strength of schedule. She's hooked up with Tarnawa and Magical, ran second to both of them. You'll see them later on in the Longines Turf. Cayenne Pepper, but trainer Jessica Harrington said she didn't want an outside post pre-draw. I don't want the rail, I don't want an outside post. Parked outside in the 14 post position for Cayenne Pepper. That is the field for the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Post time in 6 minutes. We check in with our handicappers, Edzo and Matt. What do you think?
Lafitte, a wide open race for sure. I haven't had a win yet. I've had a second, a third, and a fourth. You're off.
I may only start playing the dirt mile. I may only start playing the dirt mile.
Spun the run last year, paying over $22, right?
Now let's be fair. We shouldn't take victory laps for 9 to 5 shots.
Hey, you know what? virtual high five. What do you think here?
I know you said you think this is an open race.
I do.
I think it goes through the 2 horses coming out of the Diana. I think it's Mean Mary. I think it's Rushing Fall. I prefer Mean Mary at the price she is.
Okay.
I don't think they should be separated by that much. And to be honest, I think if we had a little bit of a different ride in the Diana, perhaps Mean Mary is the one that ultimately prevails.
You know, the interesting thing with me in this race, again, looking for value in this race, and again, I'm taking a stab here, and not one of my strengths as a handicapper when you have all these European horses coming in for the Breeders' Cup. My sister Nat at 24-1, 12 for 14 in the money, but she really enjoys the soft going. And this turf course does have some moisture. She hasn't had a lot of, in her last handful of races, she's not had, a track that has had some moisture in the grass. So I'm thinking that she's going to move way up here. I love the price at 25-1. Look, if she happens to hit the board and finish third, going to pay at least $14 a show. So I'm looking for a horse just to hit the board right now, Lafitte. Don't have a lot of confidence right now, pal.
Swinging for the fences, Edzo with my sister Nat. Matt going with Mean Mary. You're on board. Coming up next, the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf.
And of course, Peter Fornatal joined us earlier on live from the track. He gave us the winner of the mile race. Nick's Go is his best bet of the night.
At home, Breeders' Cup at home. Great to see you there. Hoping your wagering is going better, a little better than our handicappers. They're going to pick it up. All the fans taking in the Breeders' Cup activity at home, and can't wait to see you fans back at the racetrack next year. Keeneland for the Breeders' Cup, or Del Mar, and then in 2 years right back here at Keeneland Racecourse. Updated odds for this Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Rushing Fall still the favorite at 5-2. Always key is the condition of the turf course. We check in with Donna.
Well, the turf course has been upgraded from good to firm after the turf sprint. And, you know, the track rating has 4 different ratings here at American Racing. They have firm, good, yielding, and soft. In Europe, they go a little bit further. They have all those listings, and then they also have good to firm, good to soft, and then heavy. Heavy is really quite of a bog, and it's not a condition that we ever race on here in America, because in those instances, the races are moved from the turf and onto the dirt. But it would be a mistake to discount any of the Europeans in here because we have a firm turf course. In fact, some of the Europeans have come here because of that firmer footing. Peaceful and Terabellum in this race are both good examples of that. So they're coming off of races where they faced really heavy footing that their trainers thought they didn't like at all. And they're looking forward to this firm turf course, Lafitte.
Donna, trainer John Gosden, Terabellum, has said he had never seen conditions like that it was almost bottomless. It was so soft. Some of the recent races these horses have prepped over. They'll like it a little bit more firm this afternoon here at Keeneland Racecourse. And there is Rushing Fall, who absolutely loves it here at Keeneland.
Yeah, she's running further today than she's ever run before, but I wouldn't make a big deal out of that. She's won 3 stakes races at a mile and an eighth, including 2 grade ones, and this is just a 16th of a mile further than that. She just wins. She's 11 out of 14 career, and it'll probably be, I think Matt Bernier was pretty accurate, this could be a match race. Mean Mary on the lead, and again, Rushing Fall stalking her in second. It could come down to those two, but she's got enough tactical speed to get a good trip.
Mean Mary, pictured, Graham Motion insists, doesn't need the lead to win, though that's how she's been most effective.
She may not win, she's never won without being first or second, but because she's drawn inside Rushing Fall, I think she gets the lead. I don't think Rushing Fall wants to try and outrun her for it, so she does pick up 4 pounds off their last meeting. The distance is no problem. She's won at a mile and 3/8 before, so that's not a problem for her.
Sister Charlie, can she reach back and find the stuff that made her a Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf champ back in 2018?
It's a guess. We don't know. Chad Brown doesn't know. I mean, he does think she is rounding into form in her 3rd start this year. He thinks she very well could be back to form, and there's Chad. But honestly, we won't know until we see her run.
Chad Brown looking on. He's been dominant in this event over the years. Terabellum here. Godolphin, John Gosden, Frankie Dettori.
You mentioned it. Donna mentioned it. It's all about the ground for her. She gets firm ground, so she'll run much better than she did, and she's consistent before that race.
Larry Comas with the call. It's post time for the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf.
Here's Cayenne Pepper, and she's walking up to the outside stall. Backs off a little bit, does Cayenne Pepper, and now steps forward. Still not quite ready to go into the starting gate. The others are standing well, though, at this point. As we work on getting Cayenne Pepper to come up, there she goes, and they're all in line. They're off for the Filly and Mare Sprint. Starship Jubilee stumbled at the start and unseated the rider, Florent Giroux. Again, number 1 unseated the jockey at the start of the race, and the early leader will be Mean Mary. On top by a length and a half over Rushing Fall, running along in second position. Peaceful takes a perfect spot, 3rd on the inside. And farther out, Cayenne Pepper is now moving up toward the lead, and then back to Mucho Unusual. Meanwhile, that loose horse Starship Jubilee is running far away from the field on the outside fence as they make their way into the turn. So it will be Cayenne Pepper to take the early lead here, and she opens up a length and a half to Mean Mary second. Rushing Fall is 3rd on the outside, Peaceful is 4th. Terabellum is 5th, 5 lengths from the front with Mucho Unusual to her outside. Then comes a Daria down toward the rail. Harvey's Little Goyle is 6.5 lengths off the lead up the backstretch, and then it's back to Civil Union, Lady Prancelot. In behind them, Sister Charlie, Nay Lady Nay, and on their inside, My Sister Nat. So they continue their journey up the backstretch through this first half mile that goes up in 47.44 seconds. And up front it is Cayenne Pepper, the leader. Heading for the far turn, a half length in front of Mean Mary, running in second position. As they make their way for the turn, Rushing Fall is 3rd. Then out Daria 4th on the inside. Peaceful is in between horses. Terabellum is right there with Mucho Unusual 4 wide. Harvey's Little Goyle has 6 lengths to make up as they round the turn. Lady Prancelot goes up on the outside. Civil Union is next. My Sister Nat, Sister Charlie, and Nay Lady Nay, and they're into the stretch. Cayenne Pepper and Rushing Fall. Mean Mary on the inside has come on through now, and it is Mean Mary and Rushing Fall. Our Daria coming to them. Harvey's Little Goyle is next, then Civil Union and Lady Prancelot. Rushing Fall has it close to home. Daria to the outside, runs at her. Daria, Rushing Fall. Daria has won it. Rushing Fall in a photo with Harvey's Little Goyle for second, and then comes Lady Prancelot.
Driving finish, the French filly, Daria, for Mr. Fanchon here in his Breeders' Cup debut. Look at the pride, look at the smile. Daria lengthened her stride late, accelerated, and takes down this Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf.
So the whole race was kind of messed up. We lost the rider the first few jumps, and then Cayenne Pepper takes the lead away from Mean Mary and Rushing Fall. But Pierre-Charles Boudot rode a terrific race on Adaria from this post to get over into the first turn and then all the way to the rail by the backstretch. Then he crept up and he ran up inside Peaceful, saved all the ground on the turn, and then he tips out and runs down a tough rushing fall who did not want to give up the lead.
You know, the Europeans were shut out yesterday. As you see Daria there in her position, perfectly positioned by Boudot there coming into the stretch. Europeans were shut out yesterday. We always root for the Europeans to win their share of these races because we like to see them keep coming. We like to see the participation. It really is what makes the Breeders' Cup. And now get into Saturday, and we've already had Glass Slippers, and now Daria.
Daria charging up on the outside, rushing fall, doing everything she possibly can with Javier Castellano. In the end, maybe it was just a little too far for her.
It may have been, but she ran her heart out.
Go back to the start of the race. It's the winner here. Another look. This is the winner here, and Pierre-Charles Boudot in deep stretch in the Lexus jockey cam, and what it looks like, the jockey's perspective after guiding home a winner in a Breeders' Cup event. A thrilling finish. Daria taking down this Breeders' Cup filly mare turf. Down to Donna.
Pierre-Charles, first of all, congratulations. You had to come all the way to America to ride this filly for the first time. What did you think of Daria?
Yeah, but she's just good. She won very nicely his first Group 1 during the summer at Deauville. And today the trip has been perfect. The draw was a bit complicated, but after the first furlong, I had the opportunity to go behind Peaceful, and after the trip has been just perfect. And she did it well, and she has been very courageous.
You've been riding since 2009, and last year might have been your best year. In 2019, you had a banner year, but this is your first win in the Breeders' Cup World Championships. What does it mean to you to win these kind of races on an international level?
It's a great achievement for me and my agent, and I'm very happy for the owner and trainer. And I want to say sorry for Joris Mendizabal, because he's the rider of this filly, but he has COVID. And
right, Christophe Soumillon tested positive for COVID, and so you picked up the mount, but you definitely made the most of it. It also gives the trainer his first Breeders' Cup win. Very happy for him as well. Yeah. Kenny's with him right now. We'll get to him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna. James Van Schaick making his debut here. Very successful. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I can't believe it, to be honest. It's absolutely fantastic. And I'm really grateful to the team back at home. And it's really sad that Alison Alison Swinburne, who owns it, is not here today. And I'm very sorry for Erox Mendizabal, who rode our last two races, and he got stopped by COVID from coming over.
And making the change, was any concern about that for you with the rider?
Well, we had to do it, so we had no choice. We couldn't have got anyone better. And, you know, Eritz and Pierre-Charles share the same agent, so Eritz was able to explain how to ride the filly and what her strengths were.
Well, I guess ridden as about as well as you could then, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a fantastic ride. He was drawn 11. Somehow he got to the inside. And, you know, I thought, you know, she's going to get tired, she's going to get tired. And she just kept going, and she's been running on really soft ground back in Europe. And she's thrived since she's been here. It's easy to say it after the event, but she has.
James, you were saying, wondering if you could get to that spot. Did you have some doubts as they came down the stretch and everybody's close together?
Oh, I always have doubts until they get past the winning post in front.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a way to make your U.S. debut here, your Breeders' Cup debut. Lafitte.
Kenny, former assistant to Sir Michael Stout, and now a Breeders' Cup winning trainer, in the opportunity for Pierre-Charles Boudot picking up the mount and guiding Daria home beautifully in this Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup filly mare turf, and recognizing they had trained, had her ready, Daria in the Breeders' Cup filly mare turf.
FanDuel by WinStar Farm. By Breed Train WinStar. Visit winstarfarm.com. And by Longines, the official watch and timekeeper of the Breeders' Cup.
Blame 10 years ago, the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, the only horse to have ever defeated the great Zenyatta under the lights. And trainer Al Stahl with a chance to go win another Breeders' Cup Classic later this afternoon. Starship Jubilee, though, back at the start of this Breeders' Cup filly mare Turf. The stumble leaving the starting gate. Florent Giroux falls. Here's what it looked like from his perspective in the Lexus jockey cam. Both horse and rider okay. The stumble and right to the ground. And fortunately, escaping injury. Starship Jubilee okay as well in the final start of her career. For more, we check in with Brittany.
Lafitte, thank you. I did have the opportunity to speak with Florent Giroux, who's doing just fine. He bounced up quickly. It was just a very unfortunate circumstance. Starship Jubilee basically going to her nose out of the gate. So unfortunate that she didn't get to run her race, but she's okay. He's okay. I asked him how that might affect him mentally moving forward. Of course, he's riding Breeders' Cup Distaff favorite Monomoy Girl. He said, I'm good. So we're good.
Brittany, thanks so much. Can you bounce back that quick? Jer, is that something that sticks with you?
Depends on if you get stepped on or not. He'll get over this in 10 minutes.
He's riding a good Breeders' Cup horse, understandably.
He'll be fine.
Daria, 17-1 in the upset over Rushing Fall and Harvey's Lil Goyle. Down to Nick Luck for the trophy presentation.
Lafitte, thank you very much. In the trophy presentation, winner's circle here alongside Rob Samuels, who's the managing director of Breeders' Cup Partners Maker's Mark, and grandson of the founders of that distinguished organization as well. And Rob is going to present the trophy on behalf of the winning owner, Alison Swinburne, who sadly can't be with us today, to Jacko Fanshawe, wife of trainer James, who's with us as well. The Fanshaw's first Breeders' Cup runner is a winner. Rob.
Thank you. On behalf of the Samuels family, it couldn't be a greater honor, as Keeneland was our very first customer in the very beginning in the 1950s, to be a part of Breeders' Cup, to sponsor the filly and mare turf race. And just on behalf of the Maker's Mark team, congratulations for such an exciting race.
Rob, thank you very much. Jacko, if I could ask you just to come forward, I'd be most grateful for a few words. We've heard from James, but I know that for the last, just here would be great, for the last 3 decades, you've been a huge part of this team and this success, and I know you'd like to accept the trophy on behalf of Alison Swinburne.
Yes, I would. Alison's incredibly sad that she's not here today, but I can assure you she'll be celebrating hugely with her family this afternoon, and she's very, very grateful and that her filly has won this afternoon, and very grateful to the sponsors. Thank you very much.
Jacko, you and James and your son Tom, you're a great team, and you train at Pegasus Stables in Newmarket, which was once the home of the legendary jockey Fred Archer. It's another historic moment. What does it mean to the whole team back home, do you think, this victory?
Oh, my goodness me. I couldn't put in words what this will mean. I mean, it's the biggest win of our whole career, isn't it, James? And they will be feeling it as we are feeling it now.
And James, perhaps one final word. The man on my right, Pierre-Charles Boudot, stepped in for the ride at the 11th hour because sadly Eurytz Mondizabal couldn't be here because he didn't pass a COVID test. But you've got a super sub here in PC.
Yeah, it's bad luck on Eurytz, but Eurytz and Pierre-Charles share the same agent. And Eurytz looks like he gave Pierre-Charles the right instructions. And you know, thanks to him, and Pierre-Charles gave her a fantastic ride, got to the inside, and she kept finding when she asked him in the final 2 furlongs.
A wonderful moment for you all. Many congratulations. Many congratulations to Alison Swinburne and to you, Pierre-Charles. Best of luck on Mogul in the Breeders' Cup Turf a little bit later on. Lafitte or Daria takes home the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf, and it's a second win on Breeders' Cup afternoon for horses trained in the UK.
Glass sippers earlier in the turf sprint. Now Adaria, Randy, as the full order of finish. Adaria by a neck over the favorite Rushing Fall.
And Rushing Fall, I think I mentioned that she was selling at Keeneland. Let me correct that. It's actually tomorrow. The Fasig-Tipton sale, Rushing Fall, will be auctioned. And Jerry's a big fan of the ride by Boudot there.
Oh man, to get from the 11 post to the rail in the first turn is almost impossible. I don't know how anybody could have ridden that horse any better. And it was the difference in winning and losing.
Big effort, the American Pharoah filly, Harvey's Lil Goyle, and just disappointing for Starship Jubilee. Her great career to end as it did. But again, okay after that stumble leaving the starting gate. A salute to the breeders. Cheers to the breeders represented in this Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup filly mare turf here. And for Adaria, the winner at 7 15-1 in this Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Well, based in Lexington, the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is a nonprofit organization serving aftercare facilities for thoroughbreds following the conclusion of their racing careers. The TAA is compromised and supported by owners, trainers, and breeders and racetracks, aftercare professionals, and other industry groups. To support the TAA's mission statement, the thoroughbredaftercare.org/donate. Up next. Now, this is always exciting. The Breeders' Cup Sprint, one of the original 7 Breeders' Cup races. Big field, talented field. Yopon, the current favorite, at 2-1 with 22 minutes to post. It's a completely different brand of racing from the long-distance turf race we just saw in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. This is a short 6-furlong sprint. Exciting because these horses, these sprinters, are going as fast as they can right from the start.
Yeah, we had some terrific sprinters that didn't actually make this race early in the season, but we're still chock full. Yopon, Steve Asmussen, he had a couple of good sprinters, 3 good sprinters this year. This horse is 4 for 4. Unbelievable win in the Chick Lane Stakes. Loaded with talent, never been tested really. I mean, he could be anything. And he's tough, too. If you watch we missed the break, but in the Chick Lane Stakes, he was bumped around early. He bowled his way through, took the pressure, and even kicked on. Look at him kicking clear here, winning pretty much as easy as he pleases. Johnny Velazquez getting after him a little bit, but he could be a potential superstar.
And one of the amazing things that trainer Steve Asmussen points out is that the owners, Bill and Corrine Heiligbro, had Matole last year, and now they come back right away with Yopon in 2020.
Reloaded. Yopon at 2-1. How about CZ Rocket?
CZ Rocket was claimed, which means purchased out of a race, at Oaklawn Park back in April for a price tag of $40,000. They were hoping when they claimed him, trainer Peter Miller, when you claim a horse for $40,000, you hope to win for him for a $50,000 claiming price, right? Low expectations. Instead, he's gone a perfect 5 for 5 since then. He's the best sprinter now in Southern California. Back-to-back stakes wins, and he's in here with a big shot, pretty well drawn in post position number 2.
Razor sharp CZ Rocket, and then Diamond Oops, a contender. He can do it all. Grass, dirt, whatever.
I call him the Renaissance horse. He can win on dirt and grass, short and long. He can pretty much do it all. He comes off a big win here at Keeneland, comes from back and getting up in the shadow of the wire to win. Yeah, I love this horse because he always comes with an effort. He never fails to give his best performance.
20 minutes to post till this Breeders' Cup Sprint. Down to Kenny in the paddock.
Thanks, Lafitte. You know that college player that is just so good as a freshman and he's still so good as a senior? Going, how many years does he have left? That is Whitmore in this race. He is the oldest in the field at 7 years old. He has the most experience. This will be his 38th start. He's won the most money, $3 million. His 4th straight appearance in the race. He finished 3rd last year, 2nd the year before. Ron Moquette, his trainer, tells me he is more confident than ever before because he thinks Whitmore, and he said, I'm trying to be modest here, is not facing the quality of field he's faced in the past. They don't have the same resume. Whitmore himself, he's been feeling his oats. I mean, literally knocking around the bucket, having fun around the barn. Moquette tells me he's young again at the age of 7 and ready for another try in the sprint. Let's go to Brittany.
Well, Kenny, Diamond Oops is reliable. It doesn't matter the circumstances. He's there for you when you need him, on and off the track. For Andy Biancone, assistant trainer to her father, Patrick, he has been her rock. Patrick, now in remission, battled cancer for the past year. And during that time, Andy claims Diamond Oops was the light in their lives. He gave her an escape, and getting aboard him, she says, almost became like therapy. So for everything Diamond Oops has given her and her family, she can think of no horse more deserving for a big win than him. Nick?
Animals can be such wonderful companions, and that's certainly the case for Frank Fletcher, the owner of Frank's Rocket, the only filly in the field for this year's Breeders' Cup Sprint. Frank became so attached to his first dog, his beloved companion Rocket, a long-haired German Shepherd dog, that when Rocket passed at the age of 11, he bought another long-haired German Shepherd and called it Rocket 2. And then when he passed, he bought another German Shepherd and called it Rocket 3. We're now 7 years in to the life of Rocket 3, who remains a great companion to Frank. In the interim, the automobile magnate from Little Rock, Arkansas, got into thoroughbred racing and breeding, and when faced with the decision what to name his first horse, you guessed it, a Rocket prefix or suffix, and that's been the case for every one of his 100 or so horses since then. Now, to confuse matters here, we haven't only got Frank's Rocket, we've got CZ Rocket. Why so? Because Frank used to own CZ Rocket as well. That horse, however, was claimed in the summer by Peter Miller, who's turned the horse around. So I said to Frank, how will you feel if Frank's Rocket and CZ Rocket come down to the wire nose to nose? He says, I'll be cheering for them both. You can never have enough Rocket, says so.
All right, Nick, we're going to set up this race. We heard Jerry and Randy talking about how quick the track is, going 3/4 of a mile, 6 furlongs here. Speed has been very good. I think there's a little bit more speed in here than maybe some people think. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I think the best of the speed, the quality of the speed, is Yopan, and I think he deserves to be the favorite in here, but he's not going to be by himself. There are going to be a couple other horses.
To me, the key to the race is the 9 horse.
I think Frank's Rocket. I think the filly's going to be right up there as well. Hopefully it sets up for the horse that you and I like.
Yeah.
The 11, Diamond Oops.
Diamond Oops can do it all. So,
and I know your wife is watching.
Yeah, right, exactly. I got a lot riding on this, but we saw Florent Giroux a little bit earlier get dropped, so hopefully he's back feeling good, as we heard Brittany's report. So, Lafitte, we're both on Diamond Oops.
Great minds, right?
We hope
Diamond
so.
Oops at 4-1 with 17 minutes to post as our coverage continues from Keeneland Racecourse here for the Breeders' Cup and the Sprint coming up next. And be sure to switch over to NBC at 2:30 Eastern for 5 more championship races, all leading up to the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. A special thanks to Equibase, the industry's official database for thoroughbred racing and statistics information. And right now, here's Tim Layden reflecting on what's been a very tumultuous year for the sport of thoroughbred racing.
For racing, the sun rises first and sets last. In Kentucky. It is where promising foals are born and where great stallions live out their lives in bluegrass paddocks. It is where promise and legacy are one. It is for beginnings and for endings.
A horse of a lifetime!
So it is fitting that racing comes to Keeneland as the curtain falls on the troubled year of 2020. A year unlike any in the sports or the country's modern history. That history will show that most of all, racing carried on. When the country moved to close itself in the spring,
COVID cases are exploding.
Racing found a way to keep its doors open, to keep its workers employed, to keep its horses cared for, and to keep the public engaged.
It's a photo finish!
But it has not been anything close to normal, and larger realities have never been far away. When Belmont Park opened in June, jockeys posed for a photo in support of the Black Lives Matter movement as protests took hold across the nation. 2 weeks later, the reconfigured Triple Crown season commenced at Belmont in the shadow of a city that had been devastated by the pandemic. The track was nearly empty, as if haunted. The Kentucky Derby took place in September, with a small crowd in attendance and protests in the streets near Churchill Downs. California racing started, but was briefly paused by a virus outbreak at Del Mar. Yet there were moments that evoked the best of the sport and let racing escape, if only for a moment. Tiz the Law and Saratoga Stable dominated the summer, with wins in the Belmont and Travers.
'Tis the law to win the Belmont Stakes.
A feel-good story 17 years after Funnyside.
They're off.
Authentic took the Derby,
Authentic won the Kentucky Derby.
giving trainer Bob Baffert his 6th win in America's biggest race. Afterward, Baffert was knocked to the ground in the winner's circle, a striking metaphor in a year in which the biggest name in the sport was attached to 4 doping incidents, chipping away at his reputation. And then came a moment of unbridled joy. It was on the first weekend in October, with the calendar upside down. A 3-year-old filly named Swiss Skydiver
And they're into the stretch.
reached down deep and won the Preakness.
The filly, Swiss Skydiver, and she did it.
She is here at Keeneland, racing again. The entire sport is here, both exhausted and proud, celebrating survival, seeking closure, chasing hope that better times lie ahead.
That was 5 years ago on this track. As great a racehorse as I've ever...
They're off in the filly and mare sprint. Starship Jubilee stumbled at the start and unseated the rider, Florent Giroux. Again, number one, unseated the jockey at the start of the race. And the early leader will be Mean Mary. On top by a length and a half over Rushing Fall, running along in second position. Peaceful takes a perfect spot, third on the inside. And farther out, Cayenne Pepper is now moving up toward the lead. And then back to Mucho Unusual. Meanwhile, that loose horse, Starship Jubilee, is running far away from the field on the outside fence as they make their way into the turn. So it will be Cayenne Pepper to take the early lead here, and she opens up a length and a half to Mean Mary second. Rushing Fall is third on the outside, Peaceful is fourth. Terabellum is fifth, 5 lengths from the front with Mucho Unusual to her outside. Then comes a Daria down toward the rail. Harvey's Little Goyle is 6.5 lengths off the lead up the backstretch, and then it's back to Civil Union, Lady Prancelot. In behind them, Sister Charlie, Nay Lady Nay, and on their inside, My Sister Nat. So they continue their journey up the backstretch through this first half mile that goes up in 47.44 seconds. And up front it is Cayenne Pepper, the leader. Heading for the far turn, a half length in front of Mean Mary, running in second position as they make their way for the turn. Rushing Fall is third. Then out Daria fourth on the inside. Peaceful is in between horses. Terabellum is right there with Mucho Unusual 4 wide. Harvey's Little Goyle has 6 lengths to make up as they round the turn. Lady Prancelot goes up on the outside. Civil Union is next. My Sister Nat, Sister Charlie, and Nay Lady Nay, and they're into the stretch. Cayenne Pepper and Rushing Fall. Mean Mary on the inside has come on through now, and it is Mean Mary and Rushing Fall. Are Daria coming to them. Harvey's Little Goyle is next, then Civil Union and Lady Prancelot. Rushing Fall has it close to home. Daria to the outside, runs at her. Daria, Rushing Fall. Daria has won it. Rushing Fall in a photo with Harvey's Little Goyle for second, and then comes Lady Prancelot.
6-length lead, a Triple Crown winner, a Breeders' Cup winner, a horse of a lifetime.
That was 5 years ago on this track. As great a racehorse as I've ever seen, from the best view in the house. In this sport, nowhere more than in this state, people dream about someday finding their own horse of a lifetime. To some, it just might mean something as simple as getting a horse in a race. To others, who dare to dream bigger, it could be getting to one of the most famous winner's circles in the sport.
Our king in an absolute shocker! American Pharoah is finally the one! Zenyatta, one we'll never forget!
To me, that's one of the magical things about racing, that there are so many different ways the sport can give you a thrill you'll treasure forever and never forget. I've been calling races since I was 18 years old, following in the footsteps of some of the greatest to ever do it.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Every time the gates open, my heart still jumps a little. Every time they come into the stretch, I can't help but be carried by the thrill of what might happen next.
Too close to goal! Arrowgate steals the show! Macho Man!
So while today might be a little different, a little quieter in these stands at this storied track in the heartland of racing, the idea is still the same. Every horse you see today, every name I call, will represent someone's dream, someone's horse of a lifetime.
Always in constant search for a horse of a lifetime, but one thing we know for a fact, today we will make memories that will last a lifetime. Keeneland Racecourse is the setting for this year's Breeders' Cup. The best horses from around the world competing right here in Lexington, Kentucky, all culminating with the signature race, the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic, with a purse of $6 million. You're watching the Breeders' Cup World Championships right here on NBC. With that, I say hello to you. Glad you could join us here today. Ahmed Fareed, along with Randy Moss, and 5-time winner of the Classic, Jerry Bailey. I can't even win 5 in my dreams. I'm still trying, but Jerry was able to do it in reality. We'll talk about that Classic coming up here in just a second. But, Randy, you yourself have been to 35 of the 37 Breeders' Cup World Championships. Yeah. So you know better than everyone how special this event is.
Every year in American racing after the Triple Crown, the focus shifts then to the Breeders' Cup. It's the best of the best. The international participation makes it even better. We've already seen great performance from Gamine. Glass Slippers was good. Nixco, Adaria, and we still have 5 big races left to go.
It's been a good day so far. The best of the best of the best end up running in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And this year, we've got, 5 or 6 horses that have a legitimate shot to win here. Maybe the best field we've seen in years.
Yeah, it's not 2015 when we had one superstar in American Pharoah, but we do have a deep competitive field. They're all really good, and they're here because in many years they get hurt, they retire, just wear and tear keeps them from getting to this day. We've got him here this weekend.
So what this tells me, we're going to have a fun few hours here on NBC. So here's what we got coming up here. Here's the schedule. We started with 14 races, now got 5 left. Total of $16 million in purse money in these 5 races, $6 million in the Classic. Our first event here on NBC, the Breeders' Cup Sprint. It's like the 100-meter dash, full-out sprint here, 6 furlongs. Our first check of the FanDuel odds. Youpon is the favorite. Now, if you're betting these races, always good to talk to the experts first. We have 2 of the best. We say hello for the first time to Eddie Olczyk and Matt Bernier. Hello, guys.
Hey, Ahmed, great to be with you. Yeah, 3/4 of a mile here, Matty, on the dirt. I think there's a little bit more speed in here than maybe people think.
I was going to say, I think they're going to be going a pretty good clip, especially with the times that we've been seeing yielded earlier in the day in the main track. I think it could set up well for the horse you and I both like. That's the 11 Diamond Oops. He's a versatile horse. We've talked about it. He can run on turf. He can run on dirt. It doesn't matter. He can be forward or come from off of it. I think he's going to sit a beautiful trip in behind those 3 or 4 speeds that we think are going to go early.
Yeah, and I think the 3 is a got to use underneath. Ahmed?
All right, thank you, guys. So both you guys on Diamond Oops. Let's start our discussion here, guys, with the 10 in Youpon, Randy.
He's expected to make the lead. He's owned by Bill and Corrine Heiligbro of Texas, who also had last year's champion sprinter Mitole. I talked to Bill yesterday. So where do you get the name Youpon, right? So Mitole was an Indian victory celebration from a tribe in South Texas. During those celebrations, they drank a tea made from boiled leaves of the Youpon tree. So Mitole was so good, they said, why not go back to that same vein and get a Youpon? Now, he should set the pace. Jerry and I maybe have a little difference of opinion here. Jerry is convinced the track is extremely speed and rail favoring. I'm not so sure yet, but he's going to control the early pace, we think.
We have seen some track records already here today at Keeneland. CZ Rocket, that's the kind of name you want for a sprint, Jerry. Rocket.
He ran for 40,000 earlier this year, but Peter Miller took his training over. He's won 5 in a row. He'll be just off the early pace, but he's one to be reckoned with.
Randy, how about the horse that both Edzo and Matt like, Diamond Oops?
If the track allows him to, I mean, if Jerry's right, and this is a hugely speed-favoring racetrack, he's up against it. Otherwise, he's got a chance to roll by him.
Whitmore in this race once again, Jerry.
Yeah, look, he's an old campaigner. He will come from back two, but again, as if the speed is that track is that speedy, I think he has a hard time catching up.
So we'll see if Whitmore can. This is going to be over in a flash. Larry Colmus is going to be speed reading. Lexus jockey cam aboard the jockeys here. We get another view of the action, a little different view than we've had in previous years. As just a couple to load here. Our first race here on NBC, the Breeders' Cup Sprint. We welcome in the voice of the Breeders' Cup, that is Larry Colmus.
Thanks, Ahmed. And just a couple more to go into the gate. Whitmore has moved into line. He was a little fractious there behind the starting gate. Now he's giving them a couple of kicks before he decides to go into line. He's the oldest horse in this race. He's got some attitude, but he's really fast, as a lot of them are in here. In fact, all of them are really fast. Whitmore is in. Lasting Legacy will be the last to load here. We'll keep an eye on the clock, too. The track record is 107.89, and they're all in line.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And it's Empire of Gold and Echo Town and Jasper Prince on the outside. These three with the most early foot. Youpon is right there. CZ Rocket is close up to the pace with Frank's Rocket right alongside. Then Maniwa, Whitmore, and Diamond Oops to the outside of them. A length and a half farther back to Lasting Legacy. Then Forense Fire. Caution Illusion down at the rail. And then Bon Raison and Hog Creek Hustle. 21.64 was that first quarter mile. No surprise here. They're rolling and Japan's in front here. It is front-running Jasper Prince by a length on the far turn. And then it's Empire of Gold running in second. Yopon is third, just in behind the leaders. Echo Town is down toward the inside. CZ Rockets coming 4 wide as they make their way to the top of the stretch. And Jasper Prince is joined on the outside by Empire of Gold, who takes the lead as they arrive into the final furlong. Empire of Gold, here's Whitmore running after him on the outside. Whitmore has taken the lead. CZ Rocket on the outside, up into second lane, but the old man's gonna do it. It's Whitmore in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He won it by about 5 in the end. Firenze Fire was in a photo with CZ Rocket for second in 108.61.
8th in 2017, last year second, third last year, second in 2018. He kept trying and trying and trying. Finally came through, Whitmore.
Yeah, pretty smart ride by jockey Irad Ortiz Jr., who gets his second Breeders' Cup win this weekend. He was a little back early, as Randy said, and I didn't think that Come From Behinders would catch up, and he certainly crept up and behind him, turning for home, found the seam, and had enough for the old guy to finish him off.
This is such a cool story. This is a Joe Cool kind of horse. Now, I mean, he's got an attitude supreme around the barn, but Ron Moquett has handled him with kid gloves his whole career, and Moquett had it handicapped perfectly. He hasn't been running that good his last couple of races, but this is not as tough as most Breeders' Cup sprints, and here comes the old man just rolling. He's so popular, Ahmed, he's got a social media following. This is really a neat story.
He just picked up some followers.
He picked up more followers.
What an impressive run for Whitmore. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard, and Donna Brothers is down with him right now.
Irad just said that was a fun race. So Irad, this is his 4th time to run in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. It's his first time to get it done. Obviously, this was the magic combination, you and Whitmore. What did trainer Ron Moquett tell you about him before the race, and how did it set up?
The race set up great for him. He loved this track, and the trainer got a lot of faith on him. He knows the horse doing great. He told me just break, let him be whatever he's comfortable. If they go fast, he gonna get there. So I just trust him. I let him saddle. When I ask him to go, he responds so well. He take off.
I read you are covered in dirt, and so is he. Does he not mind that dirt at all back there?
No, at all. He's an old man. He knows what he's doing. I say ground. I cut the corner inside. Then when I tip him out, he just explodes.
Well, I would be remiss not to mention before I throw it to Kenny Rice that Ron Moquett actually has 2 horses on the track for this race because I'm riding his pony also. So congratulations. Let's go to Kenny, who's with Ron Moquett.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Ronnie Moquett, congratulations. 4th time was the charm. 4th time in it for Whitmore, the 7-year-old. He was the oldest and most experienced, and you thought that experience would pay off, you told me earlier in the week.
Yeah, we hoped it would. There's some talented horses in here with some impressive resumes. We were very happy with the way our horse was coming into the race. And we're a little slow. Sometimes it takes us longer to figure things out, and Whitmore did that, and it took him a couple of races to get it figured out, but we won. This is what we wanted to do, and we're proud.
This is his 38th start. He has been a very popular horse.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations all the way around for this. I mean, he's a very popular horse. What has been special with him and you over this whole run?
I don't know. I think he wants it. It just means something.
Ron, congratulations. Emotional Ron Moquett. And he said earlier, guys, we were all talking about it, that he thought Whitmore might be ready. And the old boy certainly was today in his 4th try at this race.
Yeah, thank you, Kenny. That right there is what the Breeders' Cup is about. It's the emotional connection that every one of the connections of every one of these horses have with that animal.
Well, he's tried so many times and come up short to finally get it. I mean, it's awesome.
Clearly emotional first Breeders' Cup win for Ron Moquett. Not as big of a contingent here at the Breeders' Cup this year as they normally would have. Certainly his phone's going to be blowing up with text messages from all around. Just a special performance today.
Yeah, there was a horse named Kona Gold that actually ran in this race 5 consecutive years and won one of those, and Whitmore has a chance to come back next year and match Kona Gold. Hey, he hasn't slowed down. Look, I mean, he's 7 years old, and each time he runs in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he's a factor, and here a big factor.
You think they'd do that? You think they'd bring him back?
Oh, he's a gelding. If he's fine, if he's
healthy.
doing good, absolutely.
Talk about a story for 2021 already. Well, that was fun. Our first of 5 races. Whitmore, a third, a second in this race, a first now. The emotional trainer, Ron Moquett, winning his first Breeders' Cup Championship. Whitmore, congratulations. You finally did it. 15 years ago, 5 years ago, was American Pharoah at this track, capping off a legendary career. The career for Whitmore just continuing. 7 years old, now a Breeders' Cup champion. And Jerry, the trip for Whitmore, fantastic.
That's what won the race for him. I mean, it was a big contributing factor. You can see him here on the rail. He got the orange saddlecloth, the teal silks. And Irad Ortiz, back in the pack, only had 4 horses beat early, moves up. Stalking now on the inside. It was the only available option really at this point to go around the leader, and now he's got daylight, and Whitmore just struts his stuff. But that was the move, Randy, that won it. You had talked about rail and speed.
Well, not necessarily speed, obviously, but what we've seen, we saw some races earlier before the Breeders' Cup began that were won with horses on the rail, including one of them on the lead and one that came from last. Then we had Gamine, speed, rail, Knicks Go, speed, rail, and now you have Whitmore coming from off the pace, rail. So it's something to watch. The rail may be definitely a huge advantage right now.
Seems fast out there. Yopan, the 6-5 favorite in this one, ended up finishing 8th, so out of the money. Whitmore 18-1, CZ Rocket second 5-1, Frenzy Fire part of the trifecta there at 8-1. Brittany now with the presentation.
There might not be a more popular winner on the 2 days. Whitmore in his 4th Breeders' Cup Sprint attempt. He takes it in style. And for the trophy presentation, to Saul Cumin, Ron Moquett, Bob LaPenta, who's watching at home, we have Walker Hancock, the president of Claiborne.
On behalf of the Breeders' Cup, I'd like to wish the congratulations to the Connections of Whitmore on an incredible performance in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
A big congratulations to you both. Take those trophies. Whitmore earned that. Saul, I'll have you come up as well as Ron. It's a performance that gives you chills because he's a horse that shows up each and every time. You've had some special victories here at the Breeders' Cup, but tell us why this one might be a little different.
Oh, man, a 7-year-old horse. This team has done an unbelievable job, and great partners. Bob LaPenta, wish you were here today. We miss you, and obviously thanks for letting us be part of this great ride. My first Breeders' Cup win was with Irad in the similar silks on Lady Eli. So when I saw the blue with him, we felt like we might have a chance, and all the credit really goes to these guys. They did all the work.
Ron, I'll have you come up here for me. For trainers, it's a 24/7 job. You wake up early in the morning, you got to go to bed early, and you go back. But it's a life passion. What does it make having a horse like Whitmore in his 4th Breeders' Cup Sprint attempt make getting up early in the morning so easy?
It shows that all the work that the barn does and that all the patience that the owners have with me pays off. We do the right thing. We try hard. We keep showing up for work, and good things will happen. I want to take a time to say, a high five to heaven to Fred Edick. It's his first race without him.
Well,
thanks to Bob. Thanks to Santiago. Thanks to Luis. Obviously, Greta gallops him, works him, and he's not easy to be around. Laura does everything to him. Carlos, the whole crew. It takes a village, and everybody wakes up with the horse's best interest, and that's what I'm proud of.
Well, that village was with you today. Congratulations. Thanks. This will be a victory we'll remember for some time. It is Whitmore in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Thank you, Brittany. A horse that came into the race with already over $3 million in earnings. That is going up, Randy.
Yopan was beaten to the lead, obviously, by the Japanese surprise horse, Jasper Prince. He faded to finish 8th. When I was going through the litany of speed and rail, I think I mentioned that Gamine was on the rail. She actually wasn't on the rail, but she was speed. And Whitmore certainly had a beautiful rail trip there to get through.
So that's your order of finish. And, of course, this is the Breeders' Cup, and so we want to give a cheers to the breeders out there, including the breeder for Whitmore, John Liviakis. Congratulations to all the breeders. Getting a horse in the Breeders' Cup is an accomplishment in and of itself. One race down. We got 4 to go. All builds towards the Classic, that $6 million race. Names we're all familiar with. 5 or 6 horses could win this one. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Let's get a preview from our whole crew here, starting with Mr. Kentucky himself, Kenny Rice.
Thanks, Ahmed. Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert is trying to add to his record 3 Breeders' Cup Classic wins. To get to number 4, he brings in 3 strong contenders, 3 that he did not expect would be here at the start of this year. Starting with Improbable, who was disappointing at many times at 3, but at 4, he has won 3 straight Grade 1 races and might be the best in the country. Then there's Kentucky Derby champ Authentic, who was low on the bench at the start of the year, but 2 other 3-year-olds got injured and he moved up and, of course, won the Roses. And then there is Maximum Security, who was not even in the Baffert stable at the start of this season. And with more on that, let's go to Nick Luck.
Maximum Security, Kenny, is quite simply the world's most notorious racehorse. He became the first horse in history to be disqualified from first past the post in the Kentucky Derby in 2019 on the day of the race. He skipped the Preakness Stakes, he skipped the Belmont Stakes, and then his trainer Jason Service sent him to Saudi Arabia for the inaugural running of the world's richest horse race, the $20 million Saudi Cup. He won in thrilling fashion, thrilling stretch duel with the filly Midnight Bisou. But a week later, Jason Service was indicted by federal officers for the most serious medication charges of doping his horses, and he awaits trial now. So the horse is then on the move to Bob Baffert, who hasn't exactly had an uneventful year himself. He runs well. He then wins the Pacific Classic at Del Mar, and he's then second to his own stable companion Improbable. At the moment, his purse for the Saudi Cup is still pending the investigation. This quite simply is a horse for whom the stories can never come to an end, whatever happens in the Breeders' Cup Classic today, Lafitte.
Yeah, Nick, kind of a common thread in this Breeders' Cup Classic. It's disappointment in Louisville, redemption here in Lexington with Maximum Security, or in this case, Tiz the Law, defeated Kentucky Derby favorite. But remember, this is New York's horse. He's a New York bred and won New York's signature horse race in June, the Belmont Stakes, in devastating fashion. And the party was on, the celebration was on with the Saratoga stable, all the partners there that were celebrating. An incredible scene following that win in the Belmont Stakes. At the time, though, remember, the Belmont Stakes was first this year in terms of the Triple Crown. He was still alive for the Triple Crown. Things didn't work out. He didn't win the Kentucky Derby. That's okay. Jack Knowlton, his owner, has said even if he won the Derby, he wouldn't be able to run in the final jewel of the Triple Crown, the Preakness Stakes. He said he was body sore, but now, training bredder, fresh, ready for the Breeders' Cup Classic, Brittany. Tiz the Law, something for New York to pull for in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Well, if horse racing were a movie, which it often is, 10 years ago, trainer Al Stall would be cast as the villain, solely because his runner Blame upset the mighty Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He was the first and only horse to beat the fan favorite. Today, Stall looks to become the hero in the movie, that is Tom's d'Etat. Thanks to Stall's patient approach, this 7-year-old has seemingly found the fountain of youth. He's better than ever and gives his trainer the opportunity to flip the script. In this movie, Al Stall and Tom's d'Etat are the ones you root for. Let's get to Edzo.
Thanks a lot, Brittany. I'm here with Matt Bernier. And Matty, let's get to the heart of this, right? It's all about the wagering. We got to get going here, but what do you think about the odds of the Classic?
The beautiful thing about
these are
this
the morning light odds, by the way.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about this year's Breeders' Cup Classic is that you can make a legitimate case for about 7 of these horses to win this race. Makes it an unbelievably wide-open betting affair.
Ahmed, the current favorite? The New York bred Tiz the Law.
All right, if you want to bet Tiz the Law, you can do that. With FanDuel Racing, new players get a $50 bonus matched to your first deposit, plus existing FanDuel fantasy players get an extra $10. More racing still to come. Owned by Gail Benson, also owns the Saints, a team that will be on the road for Sunday Night Football, taking on that other Tom Brady. 7 o'clock, starting with Football Night in America, right here on NBC. Well, we want to give away another $2 million because it's not my money, Jerry Bailey's money. The FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile, presented by the permanently disabled Jockeys Fund Cameco. The 2 currently the co-favorite there at 5-1. With more on this horse and his connections, send it to Nick Luck.
I want to tell you about a bit about Cameco's rider, Oisin Murphy, because on the track this year, it's been another very productive season. Just this week, he was crowned champion jockey in Great Britain for the second consecutive year, mixing a combination of guile, skill, and real accessibility to the media. That was put to the test off the track, however, because at the beginning of October, Achine voluntarily revealed that in July he had failed a drugs test in France. He tested positive for a metabolite of cocaine. He vehemently denies that he has ever taken the drug. But because the wheels of justice at France Gallo turn so slowly, the B sample has not been returned, and that is still hanging over him. What it has meant, of course, is that he's been able to ride pending that decision. Standing four square behind him, however, have been Cameco's trainer Andrew Balding and also his employer, the owners of Cameco, Sheikh Fahad Al Thani of Qatar. If Cameco were to win the Breeders' Cup Mile today, it would cap a fine season for Achine on the track, and whatever the difficulties that may lay ahead for the jockey, it would cement the bond between him and his loyal owner.
Just a weird story, and in a lot of ways perhaps an unfortunate story there for the connections with Cameco. A horse, Randy, who I know you like a little bit better than Jerry in this race, but maybe we should be giving some love to the defending champion of this race, Uni.
Yeah, Uni roared from off the pace to win it last year, 6-1. Some of the same ownership group as Whitmore, Bob LaPinta and Saul Cumin. It seems like Saul has a horse in every Breeders' Cup race. After Whitmore won, Jerry looked at me and said, he owns Whitmore too? That's when he was in the winner's circle. But, you know, defending champs have actually done well historically in the Breeders' Cup Mile. There have been 12 of them that have come back to defend their title, and 5 times they won, including Goldakova, who defended her title twice. So when he got back to form last time a little bit by winning the First Lady, but this is what she looked like when she won the Breeders' Cup Mile. Now, the females ran 1-2 in here last year. You see Uni and Got Stormy and the Pink Silks just inside of her. They pulled away from the field. Dynamic performance from both horses. Uni wasn't quite this impressive winning the First Lady here at Keeneland in her last start, but perhaps she can get back to that 2019 form this afternoon.
So we've all heard of Uni. You haven't really heard that much of Ivar, but perhaps we should change that here, Jerry.
Yeah, I've been watching him for several months now. He came from Argentina, where he was undefeated last year in his 3 starts, and his trainer, Paulo Lobo, was disappointed in his first race here at Churchill Downs back in May, so he put blinkers on him, and Ivar just kind of ran off. He did win, but he was aggressive on the lead, totally different the way he was running in Argentina. So the next race, he did the same thing. He didn't win, so Paulo took the blinkers off. Last time in the Shadwell Mile, the horse settled very nicely and got back to his old form of running from behind, and a very impressive win in the Shadwell, so it puts him up in the mix here.
All right, so that is Ivar. If he were to win here, he would become the first Brazilian bred to win a Breeders' Cup race. There have been 10 previous Brazilian breds starters in this Breeders' Cup. Can Ivar be the first? We'll be right back. Get to the post parade for the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile presented by the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund. We'll start with the 1 Circus Maximus, trained by the great European trainer Aidan O'Brien. Amazingly, has had 24 horses in this race, yet to win this Breeders' Cup Mile.
Number 2, Cameco, not only won the prestigious English 2000 Guineas in June, he ran the fastest Guineas ever. England's champion jockey Ocean Murphy looking for his first Breeders' Cup score.
Number 3 is Lope Fernandez. He's winless since his 6 starts this year. He's kind of an in-betweener. The sprint race is too short. The mile is kind of a stretch for him. He will be prominent early. We'll see if his jockey Frankie Dettori, who has 2 wins in this race, can get him home.
There's the 4, Siskin, the 3-year-old, won the first 5 races of his career. Comes into this race on a 2-race losing streak, however.
Number 5, Digital Age, winner of the Turf Classic at Churchill Downs last time out. Trainer Chad Brown told us he was a very, very live long shot pick. I don't think Chad knew he'd be the co-favorite right now at 5-1.
Number 6 is Safe Voyage. We saw Whitmore win at 7. This is an old man at 7 as well. He has 12 wins at 29 starts, 3 of those coming this year. First Breeders' Cup for jockey Jason Hart and trainer John Quinn.
The 7 is Casa Creed. If you're a fan of Sports Talk Radio and live in the New York area, probably heard of his co-owner, Mike Francesa. Got Casa Reed here today.
Number 8, March to the Arch, a runner-up in the Woodbine Mile in Toronto. Owner and breeder Charlotte Weber and trainer Mark Cassie have each won the mile twice previously.
Number 9, One Master, has been scratched.
The 10 is Halladay, named in honor of the late great Hall of Fame pitcher Roy Halladay. Last time out, he won the 4-star Dave at Saratoga, race in which he didn't break all that great, but still found a way to win.
And 11, Ivar, the Shadwell Turf Mile winner at Keeneland. He represents the international aspect of the Breeders' Cup. His sire was bred in Japan. He was bred in Brazil, and he began his racing career in Argentina.
And number 12 is Uni, the defending champ in this race. She did win the First Lady, a prep here, just as she did last year, but she wasn't nearly as impressive as 2019. She seems to have lost a step, but you never know. She's a champ, and she'll always come running with a late run.
Factor This was claimed for just over $62,000 by brothers Brian and Tom Cutchell, who call themselves strictly claiming guys. They've been having trouble explaining to their friends how incredible it is that this horse has done this well. The 14, Raging Bull, trained by Chad Brown. Jose Ortiz aboard. Raging Bull finished second to Ivar in the Shadwell Turf Mile last month right here at Keeneland.
Number 15 is Order of Australia. Aidan O'Brien, the trainer. He's ridden by substitute rider Pierre-Charles Boudreau, who we saw just get in a mile and make it from the 11 post to the rail. If he can get to the rail from the 15, he's got my vote for Jockey of the Year.
We just showed you the 14 in Raging Bull. His trainer, Chad Brown, standing by with Lafitte.
15-time Breeders' Cup winning trainer, Chad Brown. Chad, the big three in the mile with Uni, Raging Bull, Digital Age. What can we expect from each?
Yeah, well, hopefully two of them drew towards the outside, so it's a little more trip dependent when those two can come from off the pace, Uni and Raging Bull. Digital Age drew a little cozier, so hopefully he'll get a better position. But, I instructed all the jockeys, try to get the best position you can. I think the way the turf's playing, you sort of need to be in range turning for home. And, it's just going to come down to a trip like it did in the last Philly Mare Turf race, I think.
How confident are you that Uni is as good today as she was in this race a year ago?
I feel pretty confident after that First Lady win. It was pretty decisive, and she's trained brilliantly since. And she's a remarkable horse. She's coming in here in great shape, and really all three horses are.
What's it like being represented by three horses, three contenders in a Breeders' Cup event?
It's just a very fortunate feeling. These are difficult races to win, as we've seen this time around. Like you said, we've had a lot of success through the years, and I know going in, there's going to be some tough races, and I'm glad I have three.
Appreciate the time, Chad. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ahmed?
Lafitte, Digital Age, Uni, Raging Bull, all for Chad Brown in this Breeders' Cup Mile. As you take a look at the odds, Digital Age and Cameco currently the co-favorites. What do we make sense of this whole thing? Well, we need two guys to do that. Matt and Edzo, what do you guys think?
Well, Ahmed, we need to change things up a little bit, so we're gonna flip the order around because it's been a little bit chilly up here this afternoon, Edzo. And
ice cold, by the way. At least on this side of it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's been ice cold, but as you can see, the tote board's wide open.
Yeah.
And I know you've been pointing for the 7 for a while.
Yeah, and I love what Chad Brown just told Lafitte about, needing to be within an arm's reach when they turn for home. And that's certainly where the 7-horse Casa Creed is going to be. Now, remember, this is an opportunity here. Where is the speed going to come from? Certainly Factor This. I think you have an opinion on that horse. But also with Halliday as well, the 10-horse with Luis Saez for Todd Pletcher. I think there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. Get out there. I think Casa Creed's going to get a really good trip here. I'm hoping they can just make one quick little run here with Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott teaming up here. It's a big number if it happens to hit boxcars.
The horse that I like isn't quite the number that yours is, but you brought up Factor This. He's going to be forwardly placed for Brad Cox. This is a horse who in 2020, all he does is show up and run his eyeballs out time and time again. He's run well here at Keeneland in the past, and kind of to Chad Brown's point, he's going to be reasonably close. If I'm looking for a horse to rally from off of it, who's going to be a giant price, I think the 8 March to the Arch is a little bit intriguing here at 23 to 1.
Lots of big numbers up here, Ahmed.
Big numbers, I like it. We got big price races, big numbers from Edzo and Matt Bernier. Think you can predict the FanDuel Mile order of finish? Well, pick the perfect final order for your free shot at a $1 million prize. Head to breederscup.com/FanDuel right now and play. So let's take a little bit closer look at the 2 in Cameco, Jerry.
Yeah, I've been watching his films, and he's an amazing horse. Look, he's run a mile 3 times this year. The other 2 times he was going 1.5 miles and 1.25 miles, much too far for him. He won the first one. He won the last one he just ran. And the other one, he got in a lot of trouble. He probably should have been second. Maybe could have won it. But he is so consistent. He's got tactical speed, even for America. I don't think he'll be any farther back than mid-pack. And he always comes with his run. And a couple of those races were grade 1s. And typically, they bring horses over here, Europeans, and can win with grade 2s. This is a horse that's legitimately winning grade 1 races.
And he's got that quick burst of speed, the turn of foot, like they like to say over there.
Yep.
I mean, which really helps a lot in races like this mile.
Yeah, Team Cameco not able to be here, most of them. But they are watching live. This is from Kings Clear, England. Hello there. And we say hello once again to Nick.
Ahmed, thank you. And the big culture shock for horses coming to the Breeders' Cup Mile from England, Ireland and France is that there are no grade 1 mile races run round a left-hand bend, let alone 2 left-hand bends. I'm at the start. Look how short the distance is between us and the first bend, and it's helter-skelter to there, which is a culture shock for European horses. However, a horse who's plied his trade round left-handed bends many times, at a slightly lower level, is Safe Voyage. He comes out of stall 6. He's got early pace in his last 10 starts going left-handed. He's won 9, and he could clear the horses to the inside to get a prominent position on the fence. For a Euro, he's actually quite sharp out of the trap, Summit.
So that's the game plan if you're the 2 in Kameko. What about one of 3 Chad Brown horses in this race, Randy, Digital Age?
Yeah, look, there's so many horses in this race that have a chance to win. It's so competitive right now that Kameko's the favorite at 5-1. That's almost unheard of in the Breeders' Cup. Digital Age is 6-1. On one hand, he doesn't have that burst of speed like we just said Kameko had. He's more of a grinder, you know. He can't hit the holes as quickly as Kameko can as Chad watches along. But he's in really good form, and he's gotten better and better and better this year. And Chad says he has been training this week exceptionally well.
Making just his 4th start of the year, has won his last 2 for Chad Brown. What about the defending champion of this race, Jerry?
Well, I think she's lost a step from last year. Chad mentioned she did win the First Lady. She did, but it wasn't nearly in the time that she did last year, not nearly as impressive. She came into the Breeders' Cup last year running really fast times. This year, not so much. But look, champions are always dangerous, and she will make a run.
So that is Uni. Perhaps could go back-to-back here at the Breeders' Cup Mile. The 13 is Factor This. You always got to watch Brad Cox now. He's won 3 times.
Exactly. Ant Pearl, Essential Quality, Knicks Go. I mean, we've been talking about Brad Cox, and here you got a horse who's a rags to riches kind of horse. You talked about him being a former claimer, but he's coming off a very fast win on yielding turf, but at Pimlico. He's expected to set the pace, okay? Halliday will be up there along with him. It could be a contentious pace, could be a fairly quick pace, but he's a fighter.
There's hot jockeys. You can have a hot trainer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he is definitely, he qualifies on that.
And both trainers of Halliday and Factor This said they're going to the lead, so it could be race on just like Mean Mary and Rushing Fall earlier. And then you got Raging Bull on the outside. Dead closer. He's going to have to take back early, go right to the rail.
It's the Breeders' Cup Mile. Let's get it to Larry Colmes.
Just one left to go into the gate. That's Order of Australia, number 15 in the field here. Taking up position in the outside stall in the white cap, one of 2 Derek Smith horses here in the race. They're all in line. We're ready for the start.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Halliday, sharp from the beginning and right out to the early lead. And Factor This is away running in second. Order of Australia is sent up on their outside, racing for that first turn. Kameko just in behind the leaders, running in 4th position and saving ground under Rasheen Murphy, just 2 lengths off the lead. Then Casa Creed, followed on the inside by Circus Maximus. Ivar's out there 3 wide. Then comes Safe Voyage, followed by Lope Fernandez, who's 7 lengths off the lead to the backstretch. And on their outside and moving up is Raging Bull. Then March to the Arch in Siskin. Uni, second last. Digital Age is the trailer as the field heads up the backstretch. In pursuit of Halliday, who leads it by a length and a half. Factor This tracks in second position. Then it's Kameko 3rd on the inside. Order of Australia's 4th. Circus Maximus 5th after a half mile in 46.97 seconds. Casa Creed is 6th right now in 5 lengths from the front. Then Ivar to the outside. Lope Fernandez is saving all the ground with 7 lengths to make up, moving for the far turn. Then March to the Arch and Raging Bull. Uni is beginning to pick up stride from the back of the package. She's going 3 wide, and Digital Age is going to come outside of her as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Halliday's going to try to take them the distance here, turning for home in front of the Breeders' Cup Mile. Kameko on the inside is second. Order of Australia running a big one on the outside, and a huge race here comes Order of Australia to take the lead as they come into the final 16. Circus Maximus runs up on the outside. Lope Fernandez is next. It's Order of Australia. He's 73-1 in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Circus Maximus was second. Lope Fernandez was third. The final time, 133.73. What an upset.
We do have an upset here at the Breeders' Cup Mile. Just a couple days ago, Order of Australia not even in this race. Now he's your winner.
No, you know, he got beat 47 lengths in his last race. That's why it was such a big price, but it wasn't a soft turf, and we've said the Europeans come over here looking for a firmer ground, but good job by Pierre-Charles Boudot. He didn't get to the rail in the first turn, but he was only 3 wide, which was a huge win for position into the first turn. He stalked the field until the far turn. Again, 2 or 3 wide, turning for home. And I think Aidan O'Brien was 1, 2, 3. He finally gets a win in this race. Tremendous performance by the Ballydoyle horses.
Hey, Pierre-Charles Boudreau might be the jockey of the Breeders' Cup so far with some of the rides that he has put in. I mean, this horse had never hit the board in a graded stakes before. In the Irish Derby, he was 4th, beaten 6 lengths. In the French Derby, he was 7th, beaten 4 lengths. As you guys pointed out, I mean, he was on the wait list. He wasn't even picked as part of the top horses in the field by the committee. And yet a scratch got him in, and look at this. Boxcar payoff.
A scratch from one master. Just 2 wins in minor stakes races coming into this race. Least earnings of any of the horses in the field. Now a Breeders' Cup champion.
Amazing that Aidan O'Brien, for all his successes here in the Breeders' Cup, and they have been many, had failed to win this race. And does he break through in a big way? Yeah. 1, 2, and 3. First, second, third.
And we've seen 2 riders here so far that have lost Breeders' Cup mounts because of COVID-19 test, and the horse goes on to win. Christophe Soumillon was originally scheduled to ride this horse. When he came to Keeneland, he was the only jockey out of 55 tested that tested positive, and so he lost them out to Boudreau.
Let's get it to Donna.
Pierre-Charles, a lot of things had to go right today for you to win this race. First of all, he had to draw an off the also eligible list, and then unfortunately your compatriot Christophe Soumillon tested positive for COVID and wasn't able to ride him. But it was your first time to ride him, so what was your impression of him?
Yeah, the impress is very good with him. His trainer Aidan told me before the race he's a special horse for the mile, and he was very confident with him on a good ground and a small track, and he did it very well today. The trip has been just perfect. The draw was difficult, but he has been just fast after the last furlong, and I had taken a very nice place just behind the leader, and after that give me a nice turn of foot. When he arrived in front, he stopped a bit because he
slowed down a little when he made the lead.
He's a tricky horse, but
yeah,
he's good.
Well, congratulations working out a trip from that 15 post, and also on your second Breeders' Cup win. Let's go to Nick Luck.
Yep. Well, I'm with Pat Keating. He's a very busy man. He's the travelling head man for Aidan O'Brien, who's not here. But Pat goes all the way around the world with these horses, and you've just supervised the first, second, and third in the Breeders' Cup Mile, which your stable had amazingly never won, Pat.
It's a real team effort. It starts with Aidan and starts with Mr. Magner and Mr. Smith and Mr. Tabor, as I said, and it's a whole team effort, and we're very happy to just hog in the big field. It's a remarkable experience.
But
first 3 home.
Pat, I know you have your own views on these horses. Order of Australia was not supposed to run. He only got a run because one master was scratched. Then you had to find a replacement jockey. You've got Pierre-Charles Boudreau again. When you sent those horses out onto the track, could you have envisaged it turning out this way?
Have good horses, good jockeys, and good people involved all the way down along the line. And this is just for everybody. This is a whole team effort. It's not, I'm happy for everyone.
Congratulations, Pat. And I should add, Ahmed, that this horse was bred by Aidan O'Brien's wife, Anne-Marie, and is a half-brother to Iridessa, last year's Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf winner.
Always means a little bit more when you can throw that in there, when you've seen this horse from the beginning, quite literally, and now all the way to a Breeders' Cup champion.
So Aidan O'Brien came into this Breeders' Cup having lost his last 53 starters in America. He lost 3 more races yesterday and 1 more earlier today. So he was 0 for 57 in his last starters, and now he's got a 1-2-3 finish.
Yeah, but they want to support the Breeders' Cup, so
exactly.
a lot of times they'll bring horses just to support the Breeders' Cup, even though they may not be in their best form. So, the numbers may be a little bit skewed in that regard.
And despite that, Aidan O'Brien is the #1 trainer in the world.
Yes.
Going off at 73-1. Order of Australia came into this race with $38,000 in earnings. $38,000, that's it. And just won a $2 million race here at Keeneland. Well done.
present the trophy for the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile to representatives of the Coolmore Partnership, the owners not only of Order Australia, but also the runner-up Circus Maximus and the third-place horse. Tom and Max Watchman, David Watchman and Charlie Pearson, sons-in-law of John and Sue Magnet, are here to receive the trophies. But first of all, Walker, it's all yours.
Yeah, on behalf of FanDuel, man, we just want to congratulate you guys on your win, and obviously a fun race, and happy for you guys.
Gentlemen, who'd like to take the stand just to say a few words on behalf of the winning owners? David Watchman.
I'd like to thank FanDuel for very kindly sponsoring this race. It's great to have sponsorship in the times we're in. And once again, all credit to Keeneland for putting on such a great show again. Well done to Pierre Charles. You have to be lucky in life when you got the spare ride. At Dayton, an amazing training performance for the first 3 home in the Breeders' Cup Mile. And it's fantastic.
David, congratulations. Congratulations all. Walker, thank you very much indeed. Aidan O'Brien sweeps the Breeders' Cup Mile, sponsored by FanDuel. Ahmed?
0 for 24 coming into this race for Aidan O'Brien. Said, forget that. Just go 1, 2, 3. Cheers to the breeder.
All you had to do was box the 3 Aidan O'Brien horses in the trifecta for $2, $17,000 return. This horse is a son of Australia. That's where the name comes from, who might be the best bred stallion in the world. He's by Galileo out of Ouija Board. And there you see the Chad Brown trio didn't do especially well.
Yeah. You didn't tell us that nugget before the race, Randy. You didn't tell us to box the 1, 2, 3. That would have been useful about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Yeah. Not as useful now. We turn the page. The Breeders' Cup Distaff. Oh, this is a good one. No big deal. Just another $2 million race coming your way next in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. The 2 girls at the top of our odds are the 2 to watch. Monomoy Girl won this race in 2018. Then you got the Preakness winner, Swiss Skydiver, currently the second choice. Now, Swiss Skydiver became just the 6th filly to ever win the Preakness, gaining so many fans across the country and the world. She means so much to her owner, Peter Callahan, means so much to that family as well, has really become a part of that family.
You want me closer to you?
Just listen to what they want to do. We have a lot of control freaks in our family.
Okay, so it's my mom, then Maggie, Trisha, then myself, my sister Christian, Cameron, and then Bridget, our younger cousin.
We're all strong, independent young ladies.
Not to contradict my dad, but we are also very much a patriarchal situation. He's still the CEO. Hi, Pop-Up. How are you? We're in the middle of the interview. Do you mind being in it? It's going good.
Horse racing was just always on in the background, so like we've all grown up with it.
He eats, sleeps, drinks, dreams it, you know.
He likes to name horses after people and personalities.
So Skydiver was named after myself. 2 years ago, I went to Interlaken in Switzerland, and I skydived. I paid extra to get the proof and sent it to all of my family.
Pretty soon after, my dad acquired a horse that was sired by Daredevil, and so it was like, I have just the name. It's definitely the most successful horse named after a family member, let's put it that way.
I'm okay with that.
They're off in the Preakness. The filly Swiss Skydiver came out strongly.
We were actually in this room all together.
I was literally sitting right here, and he was sitting where my mom is, and he started snapping, and I've never seen him do that before.
They're nose to nose, all the way to the wire, and
As soon as it crossed the line, I jumped into his arms. I was the first one hugging him. It was just, it was amazing. His face, we were all so excited.
You get me, did you? It was great to see all the generations come together and embrace. And my dad was like, you know, and he had been sick for a while. So it was funny because he's like, get me the paddles. Do I need the paddles? He thought he was having a heart attack. He was so excited.
for him, this has been something that like really has given him like new like a new
energy,
like the way he walks, the way he talks.
Did Robbie get honored this morning? Yes. Very good. This is the real Swiss skydiver right here. Raising strong women has been fun. There's no question about it. She's the thrill of a lifetime. She's the horse of a lifetime. It was meant to be. What can I tell you?
What a gift she has been for the entire family. Peter Callahan has some pre-existing medical conditions, travels very infrequently, is here in Lexington, but he says there's no medication that can do what horse racing can do, as you saw there. She has given that family a lot of good moments, and it would complete the story if she could become a Breeders' Cup champion. But I'll tell you what, Monomoy Girl is going to make that very difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be the showdown. I mean, this is one of the races that we were looking forward to the most, other than the Classic, which obviously is in a class by itself. It's so deep. But the Monomoy Girl versus Swiss Skydiver thing. Monomoy Girl just wins, and that's why she's the subject of our DRF Formulator Fact, just for that very reason. She's been beaten to the finish now, 14 lifetime starts. Only once out of 14. Now, she's been beaten twice, but one of those losses came by disqualification. So she doesn't necessarily break watches when she runs. She doesn't necessarily look that visually impressive. She runs with her head carried kind of funny. She just wins, literally every time.
Yeah, she does. She had a few quirks early in her career. She never has liked the whip, and she always used to like a target. If she made the lead too soon, she would ease herself up, but as Randy says, she's a monster to beat.
I mean, this is what she looked like 2 years ago when she won this race. Now, she was off for more than a year with colic surgery and a pulled hamstring is what they called it. Here she wins by a length, defeating Wildcat. Midnight Bisou was third. And again, I mean, she doesn't pull away. She doesn't draw off in real stylish fashion, but she's always right there.
It was an 18-month layoff. Came back in May undefeated in 3 starts this year. Swiss Skydiver, Jerry, there was some talk about her competing in the Classic this year. You think she's in the right spot?
Yeah, well, the reason they chose thinking about the Classic is the distance of 1.25 miles, which she's really good at. She's a throwback. She's run 9 times this year. She's tough as nails. They had considered the Kentucky Derby for a little bit while, but she ran in the Oaks instead, had a little bit of a wide trip, still a good effort in that, but then the Preakness run. That was truly sensational. Kenny McPhee kind of surprised everybody by putting her in. It was at the last minute. The move that her jockey Robbie Alvarado made right here to get inside the Derby winner Authentic was the difference in the race. Because when you come down to this margin of victory, the shortest way home is on the rail, and Swiss Skydiver probably ran a half a length to a length shorter than Authentic ran, and that was the difference in the race. Really good ride, good effort by the mare.
Swiss Skydiver, Monomoy Girl. You always love when there's a superstar horse. You love it even more when there are 2 in the same race. Monomoy Girl won this race in 2018. Swiss Skydiver, your Preakness winner. Who's going to win today? Monomoy Girl is the overwhelming favorite right now.
No, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the 2 of them hook up in another one of these epic distaff duels. We've seen quite a few of them in this race over the years, and these 2 horses are both obviously so talented that Monomoy Girl is a surefire future Hall of Famer. So enjoy watching her right now, because I think we could be getting ready to see something pretty special.
Well, you know, the thing is that they're both consistent. You know they're going to bring their best effort because they always have, so you kind of know what to expect today.
The way that Monomoy Girl was able to come back after a year off, atypical?
And not miss a beat, it is atypical. You know, because it wasn't just the one thing. You know, it was colic. At first, they thought it was a minor colic issue. It turned out to be much more than that. She had to have colic surgery, and then they were just about to get her back to the races after that, and she pulls that muscle, and then that started them all over.
If she can win it again, she would be the 4th two-time winner of this race. Monomoy Girl, the Swiss Skydiver, coming up. For the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff 10-horse field, as always, we start with the 1. In CC, her owner, bredder Bo Hirsch, is ecstatic with her, saying, quote, "My wildest expectations have come true." John Velasquez aboard, who has won this race twice before.
Number 2 is the lightly raced and improving Harvest Moon. There she is, who lost her career debut in June and has since reeled off 4 straight wins, including back-to-back stakes victories out in Southern California.
Number 3 is Dunbar Road. She was 5th in this race last year. She won her first 2 this year, but after a race win in Delaware, she had throat surgery, came back at Belmont, kind of disappointed in the Beldame. Chad Brown, her trainer, hopes for a rebound.
The 4, Horologist. She's trained by Bill Mott, who has won this race a record 5 times, but the most recent was 2012. Her ownership group paid $160,000 to enter her here today.
And there she is, the Callahan family's Preakness winner, Swiss Skydiver, entered here rather than the Classic by trainer Ken McPeak. It's basic. He thought she had a better chance to win here, in which she will face older females for the first time.
The 6,
Jerry? Number 6 is Lady Kate. She's probably not good enough to win, as evidenced in her Spencer race, but she's got speed. She should lead early and would give Monomoy Girl and Swiss Skydiver a target.
The 7 is Point of Honor. It's the first starter in this race for trainer George Weaver. Point of Honor always finishing near the front, top 3 in each of her 7 races, but in none of those races has she finished first. The 8 is Valiance. She's coming off a win in the Spinster right here at Keeneland, where she finished ahead of Ollie's Candy, also in the race. Valiance has won her last 3 races.
And speaking of Ollie's Candy, she's at post 9 here. This is consistency. She's had 4 straight Grade 1 stakes races: Arkansas, New York, California, here at Keeneland. She lost each one of those, but she lost them each by 3/4 of a length or less.
And number 10, there she is, Monomoy Girl, the favorite, 2018 Kentucky Oaks and Breeders' Cup Distaff winner. She was unraced last year, as Randy pointed out, to physical issues. Strong as ever comeback this year. She's run in 7 Grade 1s and finished first in all of them.
So 10 horses in the field, 2 that we're keeping our eye on more than the others, and Kenny Rice is standing by with the trainers for 1.
All right, I'm with Kenny McPeak, who trains the Preakness winner, Swiss Skydiver. One of the big questions, the biggest question coming into this week, were you going in the Classic or the Distaff? You've obviously answered that. Still confident in your decision?
She's got to beat a Hall of Fame deserving mare here in Monomoy Girl, and, you know, that's a big step up. She's still 3. You know, we obviously, I think it was a pretty easy decision for Peter Callahan and I. We didn't mill over it very long after we looked at the pre-entries. But Monomoy Girl's special, and if she can beat her, then she obviously's hitting rare air again.
Well, you've talked about the rare air that she hit this year. She's traveled all over the place and run for you, Kenny, and run well. As far as training up to this, you still see that spark getting better? What's the situation?
It's been the same pattern. She's stayed consistent all year. She's made our job easy. She had a real similar work going into this race that she had going into the Preakness. She didn't have to travel as far. It's pretty close. This is actually our stables here is exactly where she started her career early on when she first came to Kentucky. So in a way, it's a home game for us.
Well, you being a Lexingtonian native, this is home court. What does it mean if you won your first Breeders' Cup here in just a few moments?
Well, we're certainly due, I think. You know, we've got a tough task to beat the favorite here, but being at Keeneland's always great, and we're going to keep trying if we don't get it done.
Well, it's often said there's no place like home. We'll see if it comes true for Kenny and Swiss Skydiver. Let's go to Brittany.
Plenty of people coming up here wishing Brad Cox good luck to get a horse ready and back at the top level after a 1.5-year layoff. It's no easy feat. How do you compare 2018 Monomoy Girl to 2020?
Better. I really do believe that. She's training better now than she was in 18. Listen, it's a different group of horses. You know, she's going to answer our question here in 5 minutes, or my opinion of her in 5 minutes, but she's doing every bit as well as she was in 18, so we're very excited about this opportunity.
You don't often get emotional, but there's something about her that brings it out of you. As you may have possibly saddled her for the final time, what's going through your mind, your heart?
A lot of excitement and, you know, just honestly nervous. I mean, I normally don't get nervous, but I get nervous for her. It means a lot. You know, we're excited about this opportunity once again. 2 long years, and, you know, we're back. So very excited about this.
Do you think she's really made your career? Was she the Kickstarter?
No doubt about it.
And just lastly, your thoughts on the matchup with Swiss Skydiver?
Great for racing. I mean, very excited. And, well, like I said, 4 minutes we got. It's exciting.
You got 4 minutes to sweat it out. Good luck to you. Let's check back in with Edzo.
Okay, Brittany, thank you very much. Brad Cox absolutely having another great weekend here, Breeders' Cup weekend. How do you see this race playing out here, Matty, with the fillies and mares here going 2 turns?
I think there's a fair amount of gas in this race.
You do?
I mean, you look at Lady Kate, she's going to go. Harvest Moon won't be too
far. Well, to have
far
any
off.
chance, Lady Kate's got to go, right? Jerry mentioned that a little bit earlier.
But that's
right?
her game, is speed. If
sure.
she's not on the front, something's wrong. She's going to go. You've got Ollie's Candy, who's going to be forwardly placed. And
I think Ollie's Candy might trip out.
To Randy's point, if inside's where you want to be, Monomoy Girl's going to have to earn this thing because she's going to be hung wide no matter what.
Right.
I like Horologist. Okay. I get it. She's
big
sort
number,
of
15
sort of in and out, but she's had a couple of hiccups and I think reasons for the poor performances that she's had. The 2 big efforts this year, they're every bit as good as the 2 favorites in here. And again, I'm getting 7 times the price.
Well, I'm going to go with the favorite, but we're going to box these 4 horses for $1 for $24. If you get a Horologist or Ollie's Candy to split the favorites here, you're going to turn 24 into maybe about $150 or $200. Somebody's not going to get a good trip in this race.
Yeah.
I mean, because of what you said at the start of this. So I think it becomes, yes, Jerry and Randy. Hey, jockey's race, Ahmed.
Exactly. That's what we've been saying. We've been trying to convince Randy of that for years now. He just doesn't see it that way. You can get the free DRF past performances for the rest of today's Breeders' Cup card at drf.com/free. So all that information at your fingertips and for the best price for free. So we expected it. 1-2, Monomoy Girl, Swiss Skydiver. We expected Monomoy Girl to be the favorite. She is here at 4-5. Swiss Skydiver at 5-2. Final thoughts on Monomoy Girl here, Jerry?
Yeah, well, she's got the outside post, but she had the outside post 2 years ago when she won at Churchill Downs, 11 of 11. She's had it 4 times actually, and she's won every one of them because she prefers to run out there anyway. She will give up a little ground in the first turn. If the rail is that much better, then she's at a disadvantage. But I think, as she usually has been, she's probably good enough.
Brad Cox trained. You saw how emotional he got. This is a horse that he's really one of the up-and-coming, maybe the up-and-coming trainer, and he's arrived here. This is the horse that started it all for him. The 5, Swiss Skydiver. What do you want to say about her here, Randy?
Well, I mean, Kenny McPeek was deferential to Monomoy Girl in the interview that we just heard, but make no mistake about it, he is confident in Swiss Skydiver against Monomoy Girl. When I asked him, what do you think about the matchup? And he said, I hope it's not a matchup. I hope it's a mismatch. He said, I think they've got their work cut out for them. My filly is really good.
Peter Callahan, the owner of Swiss Skydiver, travels very rarely. Says he's got some pre-existing medical conditions, but he has made the trip here to Keeneland to see if the 5 can win today.
Yeah, I talked about some of the epic matchups we've seen in this race. 2016 Beholder and Songbird, 1988 Personal Incident Winning Colors. You can't predict something like that for this year, but these are 2 really quality horses.
It's like we put you in the saddle there, Randy, on board with the Swiss Skydiver.
And I'm looking all around.
You need blinkers. I'm
looking for somebody in the crowd, and I can't find them.
Focus on the race, my friend. Horologist getting some love from Matt Bernier.
Yeah, Matt said she's run as good this year as some of the others. And her last race is pretty close. Better than Monomoy Girl's last race, actually. She won up at the Beldame in Belmont, and she is coming here in good form, but she doesn't have nearly the resume as these other mares.
How about the 7 you just saw load there for George Weaver, Point of Honor?
Point of Honor will be probably last early. She'll need a pretty fast pace. Don't know exactly how quick the pace is going to be. She'll probably drop to the inside with Javier Castellano, and he'll try to work out a rail trip like we've seen be successful so far today.
The Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff, the $2 million race. 1 mile and an eighth on dirt. We get to see Monomoy Girl versus Swiss Skydiver. With the call, here's Larry Colmes.
Monomoy Girl is in. They're all in line. Oh, Swiss Skydiver stumbled at the start of the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and it will be Lady Kate to go out to the early lead. Harvest Moon is away running in second position. Horologist is third, and Monomoy Girl is fourth on the outside.
Then CC down toward the rail. Again, Swiss Skydiver took that early stumble. I forgot to say they're off after I saw that. And then Valiance to the outside. Break of another 2 to Dunbar Road. And at the back of the pack early on here is Point of Honor. 23.11 the opening quarter mile. Onto the backstretch they go. And the leader is Harvest Moon. On top of half a length, Lady Kate on the outside in second position. Break of another 2 lengths. Then Horologist on the inside. Ollie's Candy and Monomoy Girl is perched out on the outside of them. She's 2.5 lengths off the lead as they continue through this first half mile in 46.03 seconds. And then it's CC. Swiss Skydiver is down on the inside. She'd have to be really good to win from here as the field makes their way into the far turn. Harvest Moon with a half mile to go, a half length in front. Lady Kate draws up alongside of her. Ollie's Candy is next. Monomoy Girl is out there 4 wide. Swiss Skydiver is riding the rail on the turn. She's just 3 lengths behind, and she is in contention as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Valiance is circling up on the outside. In the meanwhile, here comes Monomoy Girl to the neck of Harvest Moon. The rail's open for Swiss Skydiver, and she's coming on through there with 3/16 to go. Monomoy Girl in front. Swiss Skydiver coming up the rail. In between horses, Harvest Moon fights on. Valiance is running a big one on the outside. Monomoy Girl past the 16th pole in front. She's in front by 2. Valiance is second as they come down to the line. She did it again. Monomoy Girl and Florent Giroux have won the distaff over Valiance. And then it was Dunbar Road, followed by Harvest Moon, and a very unlucky day for Swiss Skydiver.
Monomoy Girl has done it again, guys.
Yeah, she got the trip that she's accustomed to, that she likes. She gave up a lot of ground. She was at least 3 wide on both turns. Yet, here she comes. She runs down the leaders late in the race, and she's just like a machine. That's how she runs. She's just so consistent. It's like a replay every time.
See, I didn't think she got the trip she liked. She was 4 or 5 lengths back, it seemingly, at one point. And I know Swiss Skydiver stumbled at the start, and that took her out of her game completely. Halfway through the race, I'm looking at Monomoy Girl. She's wide on the first turn on a day where the inside looks to be pretty good. She's further back than she's ever been at any point in any of her races, at least recent races. And I'm thinking she might be in trouble, but
no, but look at her jockey, Florent Giroux. I said earlier, the only thing she has usually done wrong, she idles when she gets to the lead. She loves a target. Florent knows that. So he's not worried down the backside when he's a little farther off the pace. He knows she'll be there for him when he needs. He crept up on her. He knows Swiss Skydiver's behind him on the inside. So very alert ride and in the moment for Florent Giroux.
Valiant comeback for Swiss Skydiver.
Look at the stumble by Swiss Skydiver as the gates open. Totally took her out of her game where she won. She probably loses 2 lengths right there, and then the field gets away from her. But Robbie Alvarado did a really good job. He let her ease into the race. He went to the rail. He actually got through all the way on the last turn. But too much to overcome.
Look how wide Monomoy Girl is going into the first turn. This is the best race she has ever run. Best race of her career in her 15th lifetime start. And that's saying a lot, I think, because she's run so many good races in the past, as you see the Lexus Jockey Camp. But, to be wide on both turns like that, 4 wide against this competition and further back than she'd ever been.
That's where she always is. She's always wide.
That's what when
But
Brittany,
on a day like this, that's
saying something.
Yeah,
she's super.
When Brittany Earton asked Brad Cox the difference between 2018 Monomoy Girl and 2020 Monomoy Girl, he said just better, and proved that without a doubt here today.
And speaking of Brad Cox, here we go again. His fourth win in the Breeders' Cup this year.
Got to be a record on did Dick Mandela win 4 one year? 3 one day.
I called him an up-and-coming trainer. He's arrived. I can drop that up-and-coming part. Let's get it to Donna.
Florent, first of all, congratulations. Randy Moss just surmised that this might be the best race of her career. You've been on her for every single start. What are your thoughts about it?
I have to agree with him. They didn't make it easy for me. They keep pushing me wide and wide. I was pretty much 3-4 wide all the way around there. I took a pick, by the 5-8 to see where Swiss Skydiver was. I kind of have a feeling I had those horses in front, measured. But the problem with her is what's coming from behind and what can surprise her, the last minute because...
Yeah, she gets a little distracted through this stretch.
Yeah, a little bit too much, on my liking. So usually I don't show her the whip, or cracker, but today I'm like, you know what, I'm sorry, Mama, but I'm going to give you a little tap, It's pretty gentle, but just to keep her focused to the wire.
One more quick question, and I need a quick answer. Trainer Brad Cox brought her off of a 1.5-year layoff to win with her all these starts this year. What about the training job Brad Cox did with her?
No, it's not only the training. You know, Brad did fantastic with his team. It's what everybody, you know, everyone at the farms who took care of her, you know, while she was, you know, off. The pre-training, before she goes to training at Windstar Farm and Paul Sharp, many people are involved, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a team effort.
Congratulations. We've got a team here, too. And Florent, by the way, you came off earlier, leaving the starting gate. Glad to see that you're okay. Congratulations. Let's go to Brittany.
Donna, thank you so much. With winning trainer Brad Cox, Florent was just talking about the incredible training job. If you can put it into words, because your team was going nuts in there, what did we just witness from this champion?
Greatness. She's, you know, a champion a couple times now, I do believe, or hopefully, and just very proud of her. I mean, I thought she was better than she'd ever been coming into this. I really, really did, and I think she proved that with the trip she got. I mean, not that she got a good trip, but, you know, wide and a very fast time on obviously a fast racetrack, but just a tremendous filly. She's a champion.
What were you thinking as she was coming down to the wire?
Hurry up, wire. I never party or get too excited until they cross the wire, but you know, I thought we were in a good spot at the 8th pole, and just Florent did a fantastic job. Just very, very, very fortunate to be part of her. She's a champion, bottom line.
Congratulations to you.
Thanks,
Let's
Brittany.
get to Kenny.
Slide this way. All right, Kenny McPeak is with me. Kenny, you were talking to Robbie Alvarado. What happened at the start of the race, the stumble?
Well, he said she stumbled leaving there. You know, my filly yesterday and the juvenile filly stumbled leaving there, so it's been an unlucky weekend. But, you know, she's got a ladder to climb against older fillies and mares. And he said after she left a little awkward, then he kind of got stuck down inside, and she was struggling down in there. But look, Monomoy Girl's a great filly. She deserves Hall of Fame status, that filly. And, you know, we'll regroup and get a program together for next year, and we'll come back at them again.
So we will see Swiss Skydiver next year.
Yeah, very good chance. As long as she's cooled out good. I'm a little worried about her finish there. I don't know. That's uncharacteristic of her, you know, but we'll go over thoroughly and see what we've got. And I think physically she's probably fine, but it just wasn't her day.
What'd you see on that finish that maybe you want to take another look at?
Well, it's like I said, she was struggling down inside. That's not where she's had to race in the past. And, you know, older fillies and mares is a different ball game. And, you know, she was humble today. I'm humble today. We're just going to keep trying and get back up and show them again.
It's been a great campaign. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you.
Let's go to Ahmed.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Kenny McPeak grew up right here in Lexington. He's had some bad luck this weekend here in his hometown. No bad luck for Monomoy Girl, who won this race 2 years ago. Struggled with injuries for 18 months. Has come back better than ever. The Breeders' Cup champion, Brad Cox. He's burned a lot of calories with celebrations over the last couple days. Congratulations to all the connections.
The atmosphere.
We love having all the crowd here, rooting for the horses, and we miss that noise.
We miss you, fans.
We miss you, fans.
We miss you, fans.
We really do miss the fans here at the Breeders' Cup. Thankfully, you're enjoying it at home. Hello, some live look at some fans across the country. We like it to be loud here. It's not quite loud enough. I can hear Jerry and Randy way too well. Monomoy Girl, set to be sold tomorrow. Have we seen her last race, Randy?
She's going through the auction ring tomorrow with Phasing Tipton. As you take a look at the prices, trainer Brad Cox is hoping that either the current owners will buy her back or the new owners will keep her in training. That is TBD. Cox, by the way, has just tied the record with 4 Breeders' Cup wins. Richard Mandela did it in 2003 at Santa Anita, back when there were only 4 or 8 Breeders' Cup races on an entire Breeders' Cup day. He has a chance to break it with Arklow coming up now on the Breeders' Cup turf.
The winner's circle presentation. Here's Brittany.
Well, she did it again. Monomoy Girl in the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff. Just an incredible run. And where do we begin with her, correct? We have to start with the presentation, of course. Well, Brett Jones, Breeders' Cup board member of the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Thank you, Brittany. So pleased to present these timepieces from Longines, who's been an incredible partner for horse racing, to a group that has been a great friend of horse racing. These guys make a huge investment every year. They deserve this great success, and they've got one of the greatest mares to ever run now. Congratulations to all of you. Incredible.
Michael Debb, Stuart Grant, Saul Cumin, now 4-time Breeders' Cup winning trainer on 2 days. That is a record, Brad Cox. 7 in total, and Florent Giroux alongside the incredible victory that will be memorable. You get these beautiful Longines timepieces. Michael, if I could speak to you for just a moment about your wonderful mare. Yes, go right there. It had been a long road to the comeback, and we know patience is a virtue, especially as an owner. Can you just describe this ride and the comeback of the great Monomoy Girl?
We have a great partnership group headed by a great management group, meaning Brad Cox, Brad Weisbord, Liz Crow. And when this horse faced adversity, Brad was so articulate in how he explained each issue that we never gave up hope that we could get here. So we all love to race, and we love when people fall in love with horses and fans. So we really wanted to keep her going. And to bring a mare back like this after 18 months, and this type of mare, one that just doesn't know how to lose, it's just incredible. And hats off to the group, and hats off to our partners, Mike Caruso, Stu Grant, Saul Cumin, his partners, just terrific.
You have put her in the sale tomorrow. So the biggest question is, was that her final race?
There's always a conversation to be had, but we have a board here, and we'll have a board meeting our partners, and we'll decide what to do. But she is scheduled to be sold, and that is the plan.
Initially, board, what are we thinking? Yay, nay? Can I get anything from Saul? Okay, I think we can campaign for Monomoy Girl. And Brad, I just want to get your thoughts on 4 Breeders' Cup wins that ties a single event.
Feels like Richard Mandela. No, it's amazing. Horses have been, testament to our help. They've been well prepared, and they've shown up and ran on a big day. Very proud of all the horses and the help. And obviously the ownership's group for just keeping Monomoy in training.
Congratulations. Brad Cox hasn't wanted to leave this winner's circle. Well, he really hasn't. Congratulations, Monomoy Girl in the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Thank you, Brittany. So it sounds like we need to get a little bit of a campaign going to get Monomoy Girl. I know one person who'd like to have her back is Brad Cox, for sure.
Well, and she skipped a year. So yeah. Brad Cox makes the point that, her racing career is not quite as long as her age might indicate.
She's 3.5. She's not 5 right now. So here's Monomoy Girl, your winner of the Distaff. Cheers to the breeder as well, as we tip our cap to all the breeders of every one of these horses in these championship races here at Keeneland. Well, we got 2 more races to come. We got first the $4 million turf. Then we finish the day with a $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. We got the biggest stars in racing who have attracted the attention of some pretty big stars as well.
I love the Breeders' Cup, and I love Keeneland. Something I'm really looking forward to is dressing up and being able to have a cocktail while watching the race.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
The Classic horses bring their own energy and their own beauty to it.
And they're into the stretch.
I am rooting for Authentic this year. And Bob Baffert, he's proven to be my favorite trainer and stay in the American Pharoah spirit.
A horse of a lifetime!
Whitmore, on his 4th try in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, finally gets a win. First win for trainer Ron Moquett in the Breeders' Cup. 73-1 long shot, Order of Australia in the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile. The victor, and then what we just saw, Monomoy Girl beat Swiss Skydiver. 13 wins in 15 races for Monomoy Girl. 2 now in the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff. Let's get it to Lafitte.
Honored, and we say cheers to the breeder here with Case Clay of Three Chimneys to make the presentation to Monomoy Girl's breeder. It's Michael Herndon.
Michael, Brendan, Olive, and Peter, many congratulations on behalf of Three Chimneys Farm. 3 cheers to the breeder for breeding champion Monomoy Girl. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of Brendan and Olive, who's not here, she's making a strong recovery. Will be back with us in a few weeks. This is a horse of a lifetime, tremendous moment. Great credit to her and the team around, Brad Cox and his staff, and we're just thrilled and delighted. Thank you very much.
This one is for Olive.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Incredible accomplishment. We say cheers to the breeder, Monomoy Girl in the Longines Distaff. Ahmed.
Thank you, Lafitte, and that moves us into the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf, a $4 million purse for this race that runs 1.5 miles long for 3-year-olds and up. 10-horse field, 4 females in the field. Turf racing, by far the most popular racing surface in Europe, and so makes sense. We got some good European horses in this field, and it also leads to our formulator fact,
which has to do with the Europeans, who have been dominant at 1.5 miles on the grass in this race. 16 of the last 21 runnings of the turf taken by horses who are based in Europe.
Our DRF formulator fact there on this turf race, and with more information, let's get it to Nick.
Ahmed, thank you. And behind me is Magical, who was second in the Breeders' Cup Turf 2 years ago. She's trained by Aidan O'Brien, who's just swept the board in the FanDuel Mile, and she's had another excellent season. 5 times in her career, she's bettered males in Grade 1 company. She is the mount and apparently the choice of Ryan Moore. But the dangers may be lurking within, as you're about to find out. Leah's going to bravely accompany me into the paddock area here, and we're going to pick up some more horses. The horse to my right here, Lee, if we pick it up, is last year's runner-up. So we've got the last 2 runners-up in this race. This is United, trained by Richard Mandella. Remember, he was the last person to have 4 winners at a Breeders' Cup meet before Brad Cox, so he could spoil Brad Cox's bid for the outright record here. And if you just follow in behind me, Lee, if you can, let's pick up Magical stable companion Mogul. Do you remember 2016 at Santa Anita? The reigning champion Found, the filly trained by Aidan O'Brien, ran against her lesser fancied stable companion, the Colt Highland Reel. Well, could history be repeating itself here? Because this is Mogul, also trained by O'Brien, ridden by guess who? Pierre-Charles Boudot. He's come in for 2 spare rides today, rides that he wasn't supposed to have, and he's won on them both. And this is his final mount. This horse looks in outstanding condition. He is the pick of the paddock by a country mile. And Pierre-Charles is coming out now. PC, this could be a famous Breeders' Cup treble for you. How do you feel going out to ride Mogul? You won the Grand Prix de Paris on the horse.
He won nicely the Grand Prix de Paris last time, and his form is good. I'm confident with him.
How are you going to ride him? Are you going to go forward with him?
Oh, not too forward. He has a very nice turn of foot.
So you're just going to be patient and allow the race to develop in front of you?
Exactly.
How has this day felt so far?
We will see.
You've been very laid back about it, but best of luck. It could be a historic treble for you. Pierre-Charles Boudot. And that is the key European challenge, spearheaded by 2 horses from Ballydoyle. Though I would also throw into the mix another filly, guys, Tarnawa, trained by Dermot Weld, one of the all-time great European trainers. He's the only European trainer ever to win an American Triple Crown race, the Belmont Stakes in 1990. He's yet to win a Breeders' Cup. Could do so here with Tarnawa. And Christophe Soumillon has to miss that ride as well. That ride will be taken by Colin Keane.
All right, thanks, Nick. So let's dig in a little bit deeper about some of those horses that Nick just talked about, starting, Randy, with Magical, one of the 4 females in this field.
Yeah, her career has been magical. She's won $5 million for the Coolmore Group. She ran in this race in 2018, the Breeders' Cup Turf, in one of the best matchups we've seen in recent years against Enable, the superstar mare trained by John Gosden. They battled it out all the way down the stretch, and Enable beat Magical. She ran very well in 2019, didn't come here. They were going to reach. In fact, they announced her retirement. And it was assumed in Europe that she would be retired until the next spring, when they decided, we'll bring her back for 2020. And she's done well so far this year as well.
That was a good idea. So Magical back in this turf race. The 2 is Mogul, Jerry, and we saw a little bit about Pierre-Charles, who's not satisfied, apparently. He's like, we'll see. How's your day been? We'll see.
Yeah, I like a hungry rider. Look, he's not nearly as accomplished as his stablemate Magical, but he's certainly in good form, I would say in top form. He's always early in his career, he's been tactical. He's led in one race. He's stalked in a couple of races. But last time at Longchamp, he dropped out the back, and he came from last early, and that was one of his most impressive races. It was a Grade 1. And with this post, the 10 post, he's most certainly going to have to do that. So Pierre-Charles is confident and comfortable with him dropping out the back. So that's where he'll come from.
He is a beautiful horse.
Cool, calm, and collected. The 3 is Tarnawa. Dermot Weld, 72-year-old trainer. He's got 7 wins in 7 different countries. Never won a Breeders' Cup race.
4-year-old filly, but a prime contender.
So we will continue to lead up to this race coming up next. 4 on the East Coast. and 53 minutes away from the $6 million Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. But first, we got a $4 million race. Check out the 10 horses in this field, starting with 1, Arklow, third straight appearance in this race, finishing 8th last year, 4th in 2018. And, oh, yeah, by the way, trained by Brad Cox.
2 races back, Magical beat Gaiath, considered the best horse in the world in the Irish Champion Stakes. Last time she was 3rd in England's Champion Stakes on soft turf. Was it the ground? Was it the tough race against Gaiath? Is she starting to tail off? Those are the questions today.
Number 3 is Tarnawa, trained by Dermot Weld, who's won Grade 1s in 7 different countries, including the Belmont Stakes here in 1990, but he's never won a Breeders' Cup race. Being ridden by Colin Keane for the very first time in a Breeders' Cup.
The 4 is Medea, a female bred in Great Britain, a winner in 4 of her 12 starts, but her last win was a while ago. It was June of 2019 in a Group 2 race in France. Next to her, the 4th female horse in the race, Danya. She was bred in Germany, and if she wins here today, she will become just the 2nd German-bred horse to win a Breeders' Cup race.
Lord North runs for the great trainer John Gosden, who sent Enable to win here a couple of years ago. Frankie Dettori is in the saddle. The primary question about Lord North is the 1.5 mile distance owned by Godolphin.
Number 7 is United. He was 2nd in this race last year at Santa Anita, only beaten ahead. He's 4 for 5 this year, beaten only ahead in that 1 loss. He's almost unbeatable in California, but this could be a different story coming to the East Coast turf course.
The 8 is Red King. One thing we know for Red King is the distance not going to be an issue for him. He won a race at Santa Anita that was 1 3/4 miles. Red King has been off since August, has won 3 in a row.
The enigmatic Channelmaker was 11th in this race in 2018, was 12th and last year, but he is capable of outstanding races, particularly when he can set the pace as he did in his 2 most recent wins.
And number 10 is Mogul. He's certainly the one to fear in here. His last race was his most impressive, coming from last early. He's ridden by Charles-Pierre Boudot, who's on fire with 2 Breeders' Cup wins already today.
Absolutely smoking for him. Now, again, a reminder, get free DRF past performance for the rest of today's Breeders' Cup card at drf.com/free. So one more commercial break before we find out who is going to win this $4 million race. It's the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf next. Breeders' Cup Turf, just a few minutes away from this $4 million race. 10-horse field, Magical 5-2, Tarnawa 7-2, Mogul there at 5-1, United 6-1 there. We'll see if it is a European horse. The Europeans have had a whole lot of success here. We do welcome our international audience. Hello, welcome to Lexington, Kentucky for the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. If you want to know who you should lay some money on, we got the perfect guys for that. Eddie Olczyk and Matt Bernier. Hello, guys.
Yeah, feeling good. Finally got a win myself at even money with Monomoy Girl, but congratulations. What a great story there. But going 1.5 miles on the turf here, Matty. I love Jerry talking about Mogul. Looks great on the track. The horse to fear. That's where my money's going with the 10. This isn't my strength when it comes to handicapping these European horses. I know it is one of yours, so I like the 10.
Of the Europeans, I like Mogul. I like 3-year-olds this time of year. I know stepping up against older horses isn't easy, but it looks like he's coming into his own. He continues to mature. Really like that run at Longchamp.
But you like Arklow.
I think Arklow's
Brad Cox,
interesting.
right? I mean, looking for a record here.
Brad Cox is the hot hand right now, no question about it. But Arklow is an old seasoned veteran who it looked like earlier this year maybe he was tailing off form. They put blinkers on him for his most recent start, and arguably the best race he's ever run before. He's not a likely winner, but boy, I'm not going to bet against Brad Cox right now, and I'm getting a price.
We love those veterans, Ahmed.
6-year-old, 29 starts. This will be the 30th start for Arklow and Brad Cox. The favorite, though, is the 2 in Magical, Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore. When they team up, you got to keep your eye on them.
Yeah, 6 wins for Aidan, 4 for Ryan in this race. But look, is she back to the form that she had 2 races ago when she beat, or 2 races ago when she beat Gaiath, who was the leading turf horse in Europe? I think it took a lot of effort to beat that. She came back. She did run 3rd. It was a credible race. It was bad ground. She didn't like it that soft, we think, and Aidan wouldn't bring her over here unless she was ready, but that was a huge effort to beat Gaiath 3 back. If she runs like she did 2 years ago here in the Breeders' Cup, she wins, because there is no Enable in here.
Finished 2nd in this race in 2018 to Superstar Enable. How about the 10 in Mogul?
A gorgeous son of Galileo, who 2 years ago was the most expensive horse in the world when he was purchased at Yearlings for $4.67 million. Looked like he was finally living up to expectations when he won the Jeudemont Grand Prix at Longchamp. Then they sent him to Paris to run in the Arc de Triomphe. There was a contaminated feed issue for Aidan O'Brien's horses. He couldn't run any of them, all 11. But he says that it may have helped Mogul for this race that he didn't run in the Arc on testing ground.
One of the 4 females, Tarnawa, her 14th career start, first time facing the boys.
Yeah, she comes from back. She comes off 2 huge Grade 1 wins, but she has a different rider this time. Christophe Soumillon tested positive for COVID, so she's replaced by Colin Keena. He was just a champion jockey in Ireland. I talked to Dermot Weld earlier this morning, and I said, what would you tell Colin on the first time in this filly? He said, well, she's uncomplicated, but I would say relax early and get into a rhythm, and he could take it from there. I will tell you, I don't think it's that huge of a deal when you swap one quality rider for another quality rider, unless there's some characteristic about the horse that they don't know about. So I would expect him to ride this horse very well. Boudreaux rode winners for the first time twice today.
Seen it twice. Brittany.
I'm with Jamie Roth of L&J Foxwood, owner of United. He ran a bang-up second last year. Does that set the expectations higher this time around?
I mean, way higher. The pressure's more, but just happy to be here. To have a horse at this level is a significant achievement, so that's what I try to focus on.
And you've already had a Breeders' Cup winner with Covfefe last year. Now, earlier this year, after United won, your trainer, Richard Mandella, had said, with the state the world is in, United is an important word. What is the significance to you?
So, I love to name my horses, I think, as most people know that follow my stable, but he wasn't named that for anything political. He was named that just as a fun play on his dad's name and Dam's name. But United is an important world. We're at a time where I think we all need to unite despite your differences in opinions, and that's where we are right now. So it would be really appropriate for him to run well and to, hopefully win. We'll see what happens. It's a hard race.
Jamie, thanks for the time. Best of luck. United has surely brought together plenty of horse racing fans as well.
United, we win, but can United win?
Well, we're expecting him to unite on the pace with Channelmaker. He'll probably beat Channelmaker to the lead. He was 51-1 last year and lost by a head to Bricks and Mortar. His last start, they sent him to the lead for the very first time. He ran very well, seemed to love it. Mandella said we've learned that about him, so I'm expecting to see United on the front end here.
So we haven't talked about Arklow, number one, because he's trained by Brad Cox. I think we need to talk about him. He put blinkers on in his last race, and what a difference. I won't say what the difference was that Brad Cox relayed, but it was huge.
Arklow, Brad Cox. He's exhausted from all that celebrating today. Is he going to do it one more time? A couple yesterday, a couple today. Arklow is 9-1. 3rd straight appearance in the Breeders' Cup Turf. 8th last year, 4th in 2018, so making progress. 7, United to load. Medea, the 4. There's the 8, Red King.
As Jerry pointed out, it just all comes down to whether we see the same Magical today as we saw 2 years ago when she ran against Enable. If she can run back to that form, it's ball game over. Otherwise, it's wide open.
Aidan O'Brien's won this race 6 times previously. See if he can do it again. Larry Comas with the call.
And here comes Channelmaker up to the starting gate to be second last to go in. Lord North has been a bit difficult there in the starting gate, but he has settled down. Here's the 3-year-old Colt Mogul. And they're all in line. There goes Lord North once again, very restless in the gate. Off in the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. And Channelmaker is sent out to the early lead. United goes with him and is running in the second position into that first turn. And then it's Red King, Magical, and Arklow to the inside. Lord North is racing about 4.5 lengths from the front as they race on that first turn. Then Medea to the inside, followed by Tarnawa. Donya is second last, and Mogul is the early trailer. So the American horses will lead the way early on here. Channelmaker the leader. United is running along in second position. Pace is slow, 25.57 the opening quarter mile. And these two will take them into the stretch first time around. And then it's Red King on the outside. Followed down toward the rail by Arklow. Magical is right in behind them, running in 5th, just 2.5 lengths behind into this slow pace. And they're being followed by Medea and Lord North to the outside. Break of another 2 lengths more to Tarnawa, Gonya, and Mogul on hold at the back. 51.06 was the half mile for Channel Maker. With 1 lap to go, leads the way into that turn. Channel Maker, the leader by a half a length. United sticks to him in second. Arklow will ride the rail into the turn, right alongside of Red King, and the mare Magical between those two. Break of another 2 to Medea. Lord North to the outside. Taking a bobble there was Gonya, who is now at the back of the field after 3/4 in 1:15.99. So up the backstretch they go. It's been Channel Maker and United 1-2 throughout. Red King is third on the outside of Arklow. Magical is fifth in between horses, racing just 3.5 lengths from the front. Then Medea, Lord North, Mogul is making his way through traffic now. Mogul is 5.5 lengths behind and splitting horses as the field races for the far turn. Then it's Tarnawa and Gonya. Channel Maker on top, moving for the far turn, shakes away a length and a half. United follows in second, Arklow is third. Magical is being asked for her best run now. Red King is on her outside and under a ride 3 wide. Mogul is in behind them, waiting for a way through. Mogul now 6.5 behind and being asked to go, and Channel Maker kicks away. Channel Maker kicks away at the top of the stretch with 3/16 to go. It's a 3-length lead. Arklow is second. Medea's coming up the fence. Tarnawa's closing on the outside. Not today for Mogul. Channel Maker reaching for the wire. Here comes Tarnawa, storming down the center of the course to take the lead. And Tarnawa, the filly, has won the turf. It was close for second between Magical and Channel Maker. The final time, 2:28.02.
Tarnawa in her 14th career start, but first time facing males, 1 for 1.
Yeah, she gets her third grade 1 in a row. Great ride by little Colin Keene, a substitute rider for Christophe Soumillon. He's had a tough weekend, missing out on 3 Breeders' Cup rides. But yeah, the 3-year-old filly comes and runs them down. She was tough in France. She continues to be tough. She had only a couple of horses beat in the first turn. She crept up down the backside, launches her run. She got fanned wide, turning for home. So I would say she was the best horse in the race.
Much the best in this race. I mean, Channel Maker gets away with a dream pace scenario. We know how tough he can be when he's allowed to control the pace like that. He kicks hard at the top of the stretch, but these Europeans are known for their closing burst. And there is Tarnawa giving trainer Dermot Weld his very first Breeders' Cup win. He had been 0 for 16 before that. He's known for shipping horses around the world. Heck, he won the Belmont Stakes with Go and Go back in 1990, but he had Tarnawa trained to the minute for the spot.
Magical, I didn't think, had any excuse. Ryan put her in the race, which he should have been, slow as the pace was. She was in perfect striking position. She was only a couple of wide in the first turn. He tipped her out, turning for home. She made a mild run, but nothing like the old Magical would have done.
Good ride by Colin Keene. Standing by with him, here's Donna.
Colin, first of all, congratulations. You did pick up Tarnawa under unfortunate circumstances with Christophe Soumillon testing positive for COVID, but she was, by all accounts from Dermot Weld, a quirky filly. So what did Dermot tell you about her? What did Christophe tell you about her?
Yeah, very unfortunate circumstances for Christophe. Mr. Weld rang me the other morning and told me what was after happening, and then rang me again this morning and said we won't really make a plan as such, because I could tell you what to do, and once the gates open it could all go out the window. So we kind of rode her as we felt her. And
so he felt like it might help to know her a little bit, but also you just need to let her run a race.
Exactly, pretty much, yeah. That was one of the things he did say. It'd be lovely if you had sat on her before, because she's a filly that takes a bit of knowing. But I spoke to Oisin Orr, her usual jockey back in Ireland.
Yes.
And he said she was very straightforward. He says she relaxes, you can put her where you want, so fair dues to him, and very thankful to Mr. Weld for letting me ride her.
Colin, you're coming off of sealing up the championship for Irish Jockey in Ireland. This is your second time to do that. This is your first Breeders' Cup win, though. Is this icing on the cake?
Yeah, it's been a brilliant year. It's my second ride over here. Siskin obviously was our first, and he was a little bit disappointing, so it's lovely to get this victory going home. And as you say, it's definitely the icing on the cake of the year we've had.
Well, trainer Dermot Weld's not here to celebrate it, but I'm sure he is celebrating it at home. Let's go to Kenny Rice.
I would imagine that Dermot is. His son Mark is here with me, and he certainly has been celebrating. Congratulations, Mark.
We're absolutely over the moon. It doesn't get any bigger than this. You know, Colin's first ride for us. I'm very sorry for Christoph with the situation with the COVID. I'm thrilled for His Highness the Aga Khan, all his team. I'm thrilled for everybody at home in Ireland. I'm sad that my dad's not here, but this COVID situation has, put pay to that. This is a remarkable filly. We've been on a wonderful journey with her, culminating now in 3 Grade 1s, 2 in France, and, the Breeders' Cup Turf. Well, doesn't get a whole lot bigger.
I was going to say, Mark, it doesn't get much bigger than that. When you were looking out there at the fractions early on and watching the way this race was set up, as they turned into that stretch run, what were you thinking at that time for your filly?
As soon as I saw Colin pull her out, he got carried a little wide on the bend, which I don't think was, his fault in any shape or form. But once she went to pick up, it's the exact same as how Christoph rode her in Paris. And, she's like a jet. She just sees the runway and off she goes.
And she certainly was. And I'm sure your dad is taking a look at this, so we'll say hi to him.
He's done a remarkable job with this filly, and he deserves so much credit for it.
Mark, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Ahmed?
Grade 1 wins in 7 countries for Dermot Weld. Ireland, France, Germany, England, Hong Kong, Italy. The U.S. had never won a Breeders' Cup race. Does so today with Colin Keane aboard for the first time.
Look, if you're betting on the Breeders' Cup races where they're all world-class jockeys and you're worried about a jockey that's never ridden a horse before, don't be.
Yeah, I said earlier, if you're replacing a top jockey with a top jockey, in very few instances is there going to be a huge difference.
Exactly.
What we know is Christoph Soumillon, he wishes he could be here, but certainly giving good information to all those riders aboard the horses today. 3 times today, a horse he normally rides is a champion at Keeneland, and it happened again. Tarnawa, one of 4 females in this turf field, the best of all the horses. Colin Keane picks up the ride. Mark Weld.
You gotta love it.
We don't get a whole lot of sound. We got some there. Dual payouts. Tarnawa 9-2. Magical 2-1. Channel Maker there at 9-1. For a while there, looks like Channel Maker was going to be able to hold on in this race for the 3rd year in a row. 12th last year, 11th in 2018, 3rd this year. Of course, this is the Breeders' Cup. We'd like to acknowledge all the connections, ownership, trainer, jockey, groomers, breeders as well. Cheers to the breeder.
Bred by the Aga Khan. This is his 3rd Breeders' Cup Turf winner as an owner. Lashkari in 1984, the first year of the Breeders' Cup, and also Kalanisi in 2000. Congratulations.
Congratulations for sure. So that is our cheers to the breeder of our $4 million Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. Another look at Tarnawa.
So yesterday the Europeans were shut out of the 3 turf races. Today they've swept them. 4 for 4. 1, 2, 3 in the mile with Aidan O'Brien, and now 1-2 here in the turf.
Dermot Weld said this is unquestionably his best chance at getting his first Breeders' Cup victory. He was right. Let's get it to Nick.
Ahmed, 1984 first ever Breeders' Cup Turf was won by Lashkari in these colours, the colours of His Highness the Aga Khan. Fast forward 36 years, and today's heroine is Tarnawa, just the 5th filly in history to win this race. I'm joined by Barbara Banke, Breeders' Cup Limited board member, to present the trophy and the Longines magnificent timepieces to Taft McKinstry, who's representing His Highness the Aga Khan here in the United States. Barbara?
On behalf of the Breeders' Cup, we are delighted to present this trophy for this wonderful filly, Tarnawa, to His Highness, and thank you, Taft, for accepting. And we wish to thank our wonderful sponsor, Longines, who has provided these wonderful timepieces.
Taft, many congratulations. If you could just step forward, don't be shy, to our microphone here. On behalf of all those, congratulations to His Highness the Aga Khan, another Breeders' Cup Turf for him.
On behalf of His Highness the Aga Khan, I can't tell you how thrilled we are to be participating in Breeders' Cup. We thank Longines for their sponsorship, and it's just an absolute thrill to have won this race. Thank you.
Taft, thank you. Congratulations to His Highness. Barbara, thank you. Colin, many congratulations. Ahmed?
Thanks, Nick. So we take one more look at the order of finish here. Came down to the end, as these turf races normally do, guys.
Maybe Mogul checks in 5th. We talked a lot about him. Brad Cox loses a Breeders' Cup race.
Arklow was positioned pretty well early in the race. He just had no excuse.
And United was right up there off of Channel Maker early and winds up fading to finish 8th.
Really good finish. Very good finish if you're associated with Tarnawa in the $4 million race. And then there was one race left at this 2020 Breeders' Cup. It's the big one, the $6 million Longines Breeders' Cup Classic, 10 of the best horses in the world. 3 Bob Baffert horses in the field, and probable maximum security Authentic, the Kentucky Derby winner. You'd think that'd be a fantastic year for a trainer, but Baffert's year has been defined by controversy as much as his record-tying 6th Kentucky Derby win. In total, Baffert faces penalties in 4 cases of medication violations over the past 7 months, including a 15-day suspension currently under appeal. Notably, Gamine, who won earlier today in the filly and mare sprint, was the subject of 2 separate instances of excessive amounts of regulated medications. In May, one was for the September Kentucky Oaks, and as of last week, the California Horse Racing Board is seeking to disqualify Baffert's 2018 Triple Crown winner Justify from his Santa Anita Derby win that year for a violation that had been deemed environmental contamination. Now, the cumulative effect of this has brought questions on Baffert's reputation and the sport's credibility. On Wednesday, Baffert said in a statement that he will do everything possible to ensure he receives no further medication complaints and that he would increase his commitment to run a tight ship. Kenny Rice now with him. Kenny?
Ahmed, thank you. Bob, earlier this week you released a statement. Why did you wait till this time period to say that you were ready to raise the bar?
Well, I just wanted, this is a good time. Everyone is focused on horse racing and Breeders' Cup's coming up. And so I wanted a chance, like, to tell my story, how we're going to, I thought I ran a tight ship. We're going to run a tighter ship, and I want to, extra layer of protection because what we went through has been pretty difficult.
You being the face of this sport, and the face of this sport for people that casually follow horse racing know you probably more than any person in horse racing. How important is it going forward to maintain that barn is violation-free, Bob?
Well, we're going to, things have changed now with the testing, the sensitivity, and we just have to be more careful about everything, washing your hands, just like with the COVID, and so we're going to change things, and this has been sort of very embarrassing to go through because I don't want people to think that I'm doing something, to do something to these horses because we know we take the best care of them. But I really feel that, it's been tough, but we're here today, and I'm happy that Gamine, the way she ran today, I felt so bad for her because what she went through, but it's been a great day so far.
Gamine, who had been involved in some of that controversy, like you say, with a huge win today. Now we get ready as you try for your 4th Classic victory. You have Improbable, who's doing great at 3 straight Grade 1 wins. You've got the Derby winner, Authentic. You've got Maximum Security, who's run well for you. Who do you pick out of those 3, Bob?
It's tough because, we got all those that you mentioned, and it's, it's easy for a trainer. Well, they're like your children, but they're actually training all very well, and they have to get the trip. Authentic, he's got to get out there. Improbable, he's been known for his gate antics. He's got to get away from there. And Maximum Security, you throw that last race out, I think it wasn't his race, and he's going to be a triple threat, So I just feel like I'm coming in here, but you still have to get the trip. At the Breeders' Cup, they're the best horses. You cannot make a mistake. You have to break well, get the trip, and hope that it works out for them.
Good luck today, Bob.
Well,
thank you for your time. Ahmed?
Thanks, Kenny. And you hear Bob Baffert's camp talk about some of the violations this year, and they could be described as minor, but it seems, Jerry, that they have accumulated.
Yeah, look, Bob Baffert, by all accounts, is the face of our sport and has been for several years now. And while many trainers have minor violations, contaminations, most of them clean it up pretty quickly. I don't think there's many that haven't had at least one. But the amount that Bob has had in recent history, I would have liked to have seen him come out with this statement earlier. Now, Bob said that he waited for this moment so people would listen. I think anytime Bob Baffert speaks, people listen. So for me, I would like to have seen him come out with this position and the oversight in his stable a little sooner.
It's important to note that this is not the kind of nefarious horse doping situation like Jason Service and Jorge Navarro are accused of. We're not talking about laboratories creating performance-enhancing drugs to evade detection, things like that. These are permitted medications, and Baffert's horses have been over the legal limit for those permissive medications. But there have been too many of these, and I think Bob would acknowledge it as he has, that he's got to clean that up.
If you present yourself as the gold standard of all barns and trainers, then this is unacceptable for Bob Baffert. And it really does cloud a year that has been pretty incredible for him. Jerry, you got 3 horses in this classic field. We're starting with Improbable.
Yeah, he's certainly developed from last year as a 3-year-old. He's been a model of consistency. He comes off a huge effort in the Awesome again. But his only character defect, really, is how he behaves in the starting gate. And it's usually not in California. It's when he goes on the road like he did last year in the Pennsylvania Derby. You can see him number 2 here in the stall. He acts up, he rears up, and Bob Baffert has schooled him in the morning, but sometimes he just doesn't care about that stuff. It cost him a break at the start. It cost him the race. Now, in his most recent race at California, he broke fine, but he was last early. And then Drayton Van Dyke, his jockey, took him way out into the forepath. Now, he starts outside anyway, so maybe he's going to not waste all that energy getting wide. And look at how dominating he was, just blowing away the field. Maximum Security there is second, so a huge performance, and he comes in here in top form.
Improbable with Bob Baffert from the beginning. Maximum Security new to the Baffert barn this year, Randy.
Yeah, I mean, I just mentioned Jason Service. He was formerly trained by Jason Service, so the talk of the industry was how good would he run now that Service is out as his trainer, and now it's Bob Baffert, right? So he's had 3 starts for Baffert. 2 of them would not be good enough to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. 2 of them were markedly slower than he was running for Service. In between was the Pacific Classic. That race might be good enough to win today. So we don't know exactly what we're going to see today from him.
So this is how good his 3 horses are. We're talking about his Kentucky Derby winner last.
Started out on top of his depth chart in the spring. He was beating the Santa Anita Derby. A couple of his other horses, Baffert's other horses, kind of took the mantle through the summer. But then he reemerged, winning the Kentucky Derby in fine fashion, taking the lead early, which he might do today. Here we go. You see him in the deep stretch. While many thought, I included, he may not be able to get the mile and a quarter, he certainly did. Now in the Preakness, he comes back. His jockey John Velasquez, as brilliant as he rode him in the Kentucky Derby, he allowed him to be off the rail. He said he was jumping shadows, so he moved him out into a shadow that he wouldn't jump. Swiss Skydiver, in the meantime, with Robbie Alvarado, shot the gap, got it up inside him, and that was all it took for the advantage for that filly to beat him, because it's the shortest way home. And when you go inside rather than out, and that's the difference at the wire, the trip made the difference there.
Has never finished worse than second in 7 career starts, 5 wins, 2 seconds for Authentic. If he could get a win here today, it'd be another big one for that horse. Now, this is the Breeders' Cup after all, so let's meet the people who bred the 2020 Kentucky Derby winner.
Cheers to the Breeder, presented by 3 Chimneys.
3rd generation raising the 8th generation of these mares. Most of these mares and their babies that I deal with every day, I was there when their mother was born, and she was there when their great-grandmother was born.
I manage the farm for Peter Blum, and my son is assistant manager. Peter bought Flawless Mother and produced Flawless, and he bred Flawless to Enter Mischief, and that produced Authentic. He's very tall for his age, and we always thought he was going to be a nice horse. Never once thought he was going to win the Kentucky Derby, but everybody hopes.
Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
Let me go with Maximum Security.
I want to wish Cheers the Law a great race.
My pick to win the Breeders' Cup is Authentic, because that's what I am. Unlike that phony Jack McBrayer.
Go Tom's the top. We're all rooting for you.
I like this other lifelong New Yorker named Tiz the Law.
I'm going with Improbable.
Has got to be Authentic.
Authentic.
Title ready.
Look, by my standards, my pick for the Breeders' Cup Classic is by my standards.
If a long shot's going to win, it's going to take a higher power.
My pick is Higher Power. There's no doubt about that.
I believe in you, and I know that you believe in me, even though you're a horse.
Yeah, the celebrities not only watching, but they got opinions, they got picks. We'll see who's going to be right. Tiz the Law, currently the favorite right now. Because of the pandemic, very few people allowed into the Breeders' Cup this year. Still managed to find a celebrity, and he's not just a celebrity. He's a World Series champion. That guy right there, he's got an electric right arm. Walker Buehler, one of the best pitchers in the game right now, and he's here with Brittany.
That he is, and joined by his fiancée, Mackenzie. First and foremost, congratulations. 32 years since the Dodgers got that World Series. Take me back to that day, Game 6, Julio Urias getting that final strikeout.
Yeah, it was awesome. Obviously, it's one of those kind of, you dream about it your whole life, and it finally happened. So it takes a little while to set in. I think we're as excited as you can be, but it's a weird thing.
Celebrations, I'm sure, to continue, and hopefully here with Authentic. You are a Lexington native. Now we're celebrating the Breeders' Cup at Lexington. Through My Racehorse, you're able to get a share in this horse. How do the nerves of the mound compare to nerves of watching your horse run?
No, I have no control here, right? So it's all on him, and we're excited. I think the My Racehorse thing is awesome, and it'll be cool for racing. But no, we're excited. We want to watch our horse, and we own about 2 hairs on him, but we're excited.
Those 2 hairs might be worth it. Mackenzie, you pumped?
Yes, very much.
All right, well, best of luck to you, and big congratulations again.
Right, thank you.
World Series champion, Los Angeles Dodger pitcher, Walker Buehler.
Perfect.
Brittany, very happy about that. Noted Los Angeles Dodger fan, 2020 World Series champions there, Walker Buehler. All right, so maybe a little surprising right now. Tiz the Law, currently the favorite of this $6 million race.
We've talked all day about how closely matched so many of these horses are, so a slight, surprise, but not much.
So there's Tiz the Law.
So, look, Tiz the Law ran the best race of his life in the Travers earlier this summer. At 1.25 miles, the exact distance of the Breeders' Cup Classic. He ran off the screen. The competition just blown away. That was a race that's worthy of winning the Breeders' Cup Classic. The question is, can he repeat that race? He only had a month back at the Kentucky Derby. He ran admirable, but was second. Now he's had 2 months off since this brilliant Travelers win. His trainer, Barclay Taggart, thinks that is the key, and he is on his game, and that's probably why he's the favorite.
And he's probably not at his best at Churchill Downs either. Both his career defeats have come at Churchill.
And we're not at Churchill Downs here today at Keeneland Racecourse, beautiful racetrack. Here in Lexington, Kentucky. Tom's d'Etat, a lot of people talking about him, the 7-year-old, being like he would be the favorite. He currently is not that.
If it's surprising that Tiz the Law is the favorite, I think it's even more surprising that Tom's d'Etat is the second choice at 7-2.
Really?
Yeah, ahead of Improbable, ahead of Authentic. But look, this is a very consistent, very good horse. He stumbled badly at the start of the Whitney in his last race to lose all chance. Don't pay any attention to that. His trainer, Al Stahl Jr., has done an amazing job with this horse, who has been beset throughout his whole life with physical issues that kept him away from the races for an extended period of time. He's a 7-year-old that's only run 19 times. Stahl says it's fairy tale-ish that he's here at age 7, the last race of his career, with a good chance to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. Tomorrow morning, he'll lead him to a van where they'll take him to WinStar Farm to stand at stud. And Al says it's going to be emotional, but he's very happy he's going to a good home.
See if this 7-year-old can go out a winner here. We said this race was wide open, 5 or 6 horses that could win. We can't even decide who the favorite is right now. It currently is Tiz the Law at 5-2, Tom's d'Etat at 7-2, Improbable, Maximum Security, Authentic, the 3 Bob Baffert horses there, 3, 4, 5. Time for our picks. Put it on record here, Randy.
Well, when I picked Tiz the Law this morning, I thought he was probably going to be 4th choice. Now,
just taking the favorite.
Now it looks like I'm a chalk-eating weasel. He's 5-2. What do you think?
So look, because the rail was playing so good and speed early, I think that's where Authentic is going to be. So I'm going with Authentic, the Derby winner. Kenny?
Well, Jerry, I like Improbable. I'm staying with the hot hand. He's won 3 straight Grade 1s. He's better now than he certainly was last year. I think he'll be in the winner's circle. Brittany, who do you pick?
Like a certain quarterback from his hometown, he is aging well. I'm going with the oldest in the group, Tom's d'Etat. Nick?
Singular brilliance exhibited twice this season by only 1 horse in this field, and that is Tiz the Law. To show his working, Lafitte Pincay.
Yeah, Nick, Tiz the Law. I'm going in the same direction. I liked him this morning. Now I spoke with Jack Knowlton, his owner. Feel that much more confident about his chances. He is very confident going in. Donna, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to go with the Kentucky Derby winner, Authentic. I think he gets the lead in this race. And under Hall of Fame jockey John Velasquez,
That speed is going to be dangerous. But to make sense of all this gibberish, let's go to the real handicappers, Edzo and Matt.
All right, Donna, thanks very much. Can I bet Tiz the Law to win the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile next year? Should I do that right now?
I'm not going to stop you.
Okay. Are you surprised that Tiz the Law is the favorite?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, again, with this field being as wide open as it is, a horse like this, who to me, he has one race so far that's good enough to win.
It's going to play out. Authentic's going to the lead, right? Where's Tiz the Law after that?
Probably tucked in just behind, I would say, sort of in the pocket, what we would call sort of boxed in and amongst horses. I think Authentic goes right to the top. To me,
is that your pick?
He is ready to go. Absolutely. I say, come and catch me if you can.
I'm going with Improbable. I think there's going to be enough pace up front, and I think the 8 is going to get the trip in. I love the price at 9-2, Ahmed.
The picks are locked in. Edzo going with Improbable, Matt going with Authentic. They are not alone in those choices, but you can go anywhere wide open for the $6 million Longines Breeders' Cup Classic.
Golden Sense was a 2-time Breeders' Cup winner, so the pedigree is there.
Speaking of Tom's d'Etat, a late bloomer, 7 years old. He'd be the oldest winner of the Classic ever. Only lost one time with jockey Joel Rosario aboard, 5 for 6. Al Stahl looking for his second Classic winner, the other Blame in 2010.
Higher Power? Oh, excuse me. Go ahead. Title ready?
There is title ready there. Corey Lannery, Dallas Stewart, 59-1 currently for title ready.
Now we get to Higher Power, the second longest shot on the board at 35-1. Higher Power was well beaten by Maximum Security twice and Improbable in his last 3 starts.
This 7 is Global Campaign. It's Javier Castellano aboard, who won this race back in 2004 with Ghost Sapper. Global Campaign is in the best form of his life this year. 3 for 4 in 2020. Maybe it can all come together today.
Number 8 is Improbable. We've talked a lot about him. He's coming off 3 wins in a row. Best form of his career. He should stalk the pace early, 2 or 3 wide. His jockey is Irad Ortiz Jr. Number 9 is Authentic. He won the Kentucky Derby, leading most of the race, and should lead this race today. Historically, the lead isn't a bad place to be. The Classic has been won 7 times by horses leading gate to wire, twice by trainer Bob Baffert.
And finally, the 10 is Maximum Security, one of the most famous horses to not win the Kentucky Derby, even though he crossed the finish line first last year. Now under the watch of Bob Baffert. Well, the champion, a 3-year-old last year, was Maximum Security, looking to add Breeders' Cup Classic champion to that. So those are the 10 horses in the field. Some of the best jockeys in the world. They've won some of the biggest races ever. Manny Franco aboard the 2, Tiz the Law, Joel Rosario aboard the 7-year-old Tom's d'Etat. How about Luis Saez? Once again aboard Maximum Security. The 9, John Velasquez, so good in the Kentucky Derby, navigating Authentic around Churchill Downs. And on the 8, Improbable Irad Ortiz Jr. Can any of them add 2020 Classic winner to their resume? Of the 2020 Breeders' Cup World Championships. Who will be in it? It could be any of the top 5 you're seeing on your screen in our current FanDuel odds. Tiz the Law remains the favorite at 5-2, but not far behind Tom's d'Etat, Improbable, Maximum Security, and Authentic. So let's go through these horses one more time, at least the ones at the top of the board there, Randy.
We'll start with the formulator fact. Bob Baffert won 3 Breeders' Cup Classics in a row, all 3 of those with 3-year-olds. Okay, so he's got Authentic here, obviously, who's a 3-year-old, but Improbable and Maximum Security are 4-year-olds.
So let's start with Improbable. 14 starts, 7 wins. A lot of people thought he would be the favorite here today. That is currently not the case.
Yeah, he's not far off. But look, with Improbable, it's all about how does he act in the gate. When he acts well, he breaks well, he runs well. The only times he really hasn't in the last year, I would say, is when he acts up in there.
If he runs his last race back again, he'll win. I mean, he gave up ground on both turns. He just rushed by Maximum Security around the turn. He was brilliant in that race. If he can take that game on the road again and do it here at Keeneland, then I think the rest of them are running for second money. But like you say, sometimes he acts up when he's on the road. So we'll watch the starting gate carefully.
One's called Little Justify, has won 3 straight Grade 1 races. The Kentucky Derby winner in Authentic, Jerry.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent. You can count on him almost every race. And his name of the game for him is get on the lead. That's how he runs best. That's how he won the Kentucky Derby. I don't think there's going to be any cloud in the instructions given to John Velazquez, his jockey, who, by the way, for all his accomplishments, nobody's won more money in this game than John Velazquez in terms of jockey. He's never won the Breeders' Cup Classic. So this is one he wants to get.
Authentic running second to Swiss Skydiver at the Preakness. Trying for first here today. The 2 is currently the favorite. Maybe it's New York betting up the price or down the price at Tiz the Law.
Yeah, let's talk strategy here, okay? Tiz the Law has been beaten twice, both at Churchill Downs. The first of those is a 2-year-old in the Kentucky Jockey Club when he got pinned down on the inside. Ever since then, the talk has been he doesn't like to run inside horses. Trainer Barkley Tagg wanted an outside draw here. He didn't get one. He gets post position number 2. But the horse breaks so quickly from the starting gate, typically. If he can do that again today and outbreak the field, it gives Manny Franco potentially options to take him to the outside and keep him from getting pinned behind horses on the rail.
I think all those outside trips was just happenstance. He happened to break so well and get it, going into the turn, getting an outside trip. Unlike you, I don't think he needs it, but he doesn't have a choice today, so we're going to find out.
It's our Lexus jockey cam there aboard Tiz the Law, Manny Franco. Maximum Security, not the same Maximum Security we saw maybe 12 months ago.
He certainly wasn't in his last race. He is another that likes to be up close to pace, just like his stablemate Authentic. I don't think he has the speed to outrun Authentic. I think he just stalks him going into the first turn. But he will need to be close, and that's how he runs his best races.
The 7-year-old Tom's d'Etat.
Another one that can win. Look, how many Breeders' Cups did you say I've been to? All but 2 of them, I think?
Yep.
I've never been more excited for a classic than this, to see what happens. These horses are all so evenly matched and so talented, and Tom's d'Etat, one of them.
The $6 million race, Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. With the call, here's Larry Colmus.
And it figures to be a great one here as Maximum Security steps up to the outside stall and goes in. They're all in line. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Higher Power was off to a slow start. Tiz the Law broke very well, but will be taken back on the inside of Authentic, and Maximum Security is going up on their outside. But it's By My Standards, Global Campaign. Improbable outside of them. 3 to Tom's d'Etat. Title Ready, Tacitus, and the trailer is Higher Power. And the leader, as they race for the turn, is the Kentucky Derby winner. It's Authentic in front. Authentic runs by this opening quarter mile and moves into the clubhouse turn with a 2.5 length lead. His stablemate is second, Maximum Security. Tiz the Law is pinned in third on the inside. Global Campaign is fourth. By My Standards is fifth. Improbable outside of horses 6 lengths off the lead. 3.5 back to Tom's d'Etat. The Title Ready. Tacitus on the outside. Higher Power is the trailer. Into the setting sun at Keeneland, the Breeders' Cup Classic field heads up the backstretch in pursuit of a Kentucky Derby winner. Authentic is on top, 1.5 lengths. On the outside is Maximum Security. Tiz the Law continues to race on the rail. Not his favorite spot. He's down on the inside, just 2 lengths off the lead. Then Global Campaign. Improbable is there on the outside as they make their way for the turn. Then By My Standards. Tom's d'Etat's got 6 lengths to make up. Then Tacitus on the inside. Around the far turn. Authentic every step of the way so far. Global Campaign ridden to go. Improbable moves on the outside. Maximum Security's under pressure. Tiz the Law has been angled to the outside. He's still about 5 behind. He is coming under a ride. Authentic is the one to catch. Global Campaign comes up on his outside. Improbable charges into the stretch 3 wide. Maximum Security on the rail. And they're into the stretch. And here comes Improbable after Authentic. The 2 Bob Baffert horses. Authentic digs in. Improbable to the outside second. Tiz the Law trying to make a run down the center of the track. But it's Authentic in front. He won the Derby. He won the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's Authentic indeed. He won it by 2.5. And there was Improbable second, followed by Global Campaign in third.
In one of the deepest classic fields we have seen in years, It is authentic.
Yeah, look, when horses are this closely matched, it usually comes down to who gets the trip that they prefer, they're comfortable with. Authentic has always been comfortable on the lead. John Velazquez, the jockey, finally gets his classic, put him there. I think the fractions were honest. He gave him a breather where the horses came to him at the 3/8 pole on the top of the stretch, and then he had enough to let him out and hold off all challengers.
This horse has gotten so good. He's the 3-year-old champion. He's going to be Horse of the Year, winning the Kentucky Derby. And now here, only that narrow loss to Swiss Skydiver in the Preakness in his last start. Look, Baffert won this race in 2014 with Bayern, in 2015 with American Pharoah, in 2016 with Arrogate, and now once again with Authentic, all of them 3-year-olds. And you know what I was most worried about Authentic? His tough races in the Derby and then especially in the Preakness. Could he do it again in the Classic? And I think we got that answer.
You could see the horses coming to him. I think that was by design. John Velazquez, the jockey, giving him the breather around that turn, allowing the competition to close in on him. But he saved that for the stretch, and certainly Authentic had just almost like a replay of the Derby. When Tizzalaw came up to him, it was improbable this time coming up to his stablemate, but drawing away again the last 16th of a mile.
Improbable had a wide trip. You know, if you look at ground loss, you can make the case that maybe he was the better horse. But that's why horses like Authentic are so effective, because they have that speed, and in this case, tactical speed as well.
John Velazquez, the Hall of Famer, 0 for 19 in Classics before this year, just got his first one, and he's with Donna.
John Velazquez, you're in the Hall of Fame. You've won 3 Kentucky Derbies. You've won 17 Breeders' Cup races. This is your first Classic win, but you just said, oh, my God, what a feeling. Tell me what that feeling is.
I've been chasing this race for kind of quite a while now, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And not having the opportunity to win it, and for him to do it, for me, it's incredible, you know. What a feeling. I don't know what to say. I have to say, my mother-in-law told me that she had a really good feeling about today. So kisses to her, blesses. She has a great attitude, even going through the shit she's going through. But I got to give it to her, definitely.
Yeah, can you talk about what she's going through?
Well, she's going through chemotherapy, and second time she's going to chemotherapy and 3 different treatments right now. She has a great attitude. God bless her for it. And she inspired me to.
Johnny, so many challenges with your family this year, so many challenges with COVID. You win the Derby on him, you get beat a narrow margin in the Preakness Stakes. Does this one take a little bit of the sting out of the madness of 2020?
Absolutely. You know, it's been a tough year no matter what, you know, with COVID-19 and everything. But this, you know, sets it up for everything, though. You know, family troubles and all this stuff happened to us in this year. And having the opportunity to ride a horse like this, it's a gift from God.
Congratulations. Well done. I'd ask you about your strategy and if it went as planned, but we already knew it going in. Well done, Johnny.
Thank you very much.
Let's go to Kenny Rice.
All right, thanks, Donna. Not that long ago, I was talking about winning his record-tying 6th Kentucky Derby with Authentic, and today he adds to his record with the 4th Breeders' Classic win with Authentic. Bob Baffert, congratulations. What about his performance today?
You know what? We really were disappointed after the Preakness. I was sort of surprised, you know, his race, but he's a quirky horse, and today he's been working unbelievable. They all were, and Johnny, you know, I think Johnny really knows him well, and once he got him in that rhythm, he's just getting better and better. He's caught up with the older horses. Just an unbelievable horse, and I'm so happy for the connection. MyRacehorse.com, and especially Wayne Hughes. I mean, Wayne Hughes is, you know, those are his colors. We were hoping those colors would be in the Kentucky Derby, but it's the greatest, you know, win the Breeders' Cup Classic and end it. I would have loved to run 1, 2, 3, but I was proud of my horses, and what a way to, after what I've gone through this year, I love this sport, and it's just a great day, and I'm here sharing it with my wife, Jill, Jake, and Bodie.
Yeah, Jack Wolf's son, and of course Bodie Baffert. A punctuation mark for sure on this year for you, Bob. Congratulations.
Well, we love the sport, and this is the greatest, you know, day with all the fans. We finally got some few fans in here, so I'm just happy for all the connections. My team, I have the best team.
And Jimmy Barnes was back today.
Jimmy Barnes is back.
Assistant.
Where's Jimmy?
All right, let's go to Nick Luck.
Sure.
Murphy Bob Baffert with all the connections. Authentic. Your Breeders' Cup Classic winner. Baffert now has won this race 4 times, 2014, 2015, 2016, and now 2020. Authentic is your Classic champion. Bob Baffert, certainly a year with some ups, some downs, but he's got a Kentucky Derby winner. He's got a Classic winner. He's used to that. John Velazquez, for the first time in his Hall of Fame career. Whew, sigh of relief.
And by FanDuel. Play on horses and sports with FanDuel.
Some Classic winners, several years removed, well taken care of later in life. Authentic. Taking care of his connections, certainly this year. Another signature win for that horse.
I know some people might say, oh, it's a speed favoring racetrack. It may be a rail favoring racetrack. He had the ideal trip. You know, he was a deserving winner. That's his style, and he made it work perfectly.
Good horses make their own trips, and he certainly did in Classic there.
So here are the payouts. Authentic, your winner. Improbable, Bob Baffert goes 1-2. Global Campaign getting a piece of it, 25-1. Finishes third there. The FanDuel payouts for the Classic. We will have to take a look at it and see kind of what happened maybe to Tiz the Law in this one. Tom's d'Etat. See if anyone had any excuses, but Authentic was just so good. That could almost be your excuse. Of course, this is the Breeders' Cup. You want to tip your cap to all the owners and jockeys and trainers and groomers, but also cheers to the breeders as well. Cheers to all the breeders for getting a horse into the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. That is an accomplishment in and of itself. Let's get it down now to the presentation.
As you can imagine, an incredibly excited group. What a way to cap off the Breeders' Cup. Authentic in the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. And of course, for the trophy presentation, we're getting everybody in here. Lots of owners, of course. We have the CEO and president of the Breeders' Cup, Drew Fleming, and the chairman of the Breeders' Cup, Fred Hertrick.
Brittany, thank you. From our partner at Longines, what a classic. It was maybe one of the all-time greats that we'll all remember for a long time. Mask on, please, everyone. Yes, thank you. And again, we want to thank all our nominators, our worldwide audience, our worldwide participants, our worldwide nominators, our board of directors, all the employees of the Breeders' Cup team. It was one heck of a race. And I'm going to tell you what, the biggest ownership group we've got, you're seeing them right here. So again, thank you all for attending. Thank you all for participating. Brittany, back to you.
A big congratulations. And along with the gorgeous Breeders' Cup trophies, Longines timepieces for Spendthrift, Matticat Stables, Starlight Racing, and My Racehorse. On behalf of Spendthrift Farm, Eric Gustafson. Eric, it was a first Kentucky Derby win. It is a first Breeders' Cup Classic win. Can you sum up what this year has been for you, the farm, and of course, Mr. B. Wayne Hughes?
Brittany, no, I cannot sum it up. It's too much. I don't know that we're worthy of this amount of blessing. I mean, this is so incredible. We want to thank Bob and his team, Johnny V, for an unbelievable ride. I want to just thank Wayne for entrusting the rest of us. We got a lot of the Spendthrift team here today. To all the Spendthrift team that's back home watching, to the 5,300 owners of My Racehorse who are here and who are watching on TV. They're all screaming at home right now. This is just like unbelievable. It's the pinnacle. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And at least for today, Authentic is the best horse in America, and we're so proud to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you, God.
Eric, you mentioned the thousands of fans that have been brought into this sport through My Racehorse, through B. Wayne Hughes, supporting it, including you've got a World Series champion in Walker Buehler to the left of you. Tell me what a victory like this on the biggest stage means for the thousands of fans out there wanting to get into this game. What does it mean, a victory like this, for everybody watching?
I mean, it's fun to win races. It's fun to win a claiming race. It's exciting. It's like a thrill like you can't really describe. And then to win the Derby is just like ridiculous. It's like a regular race times 100. Right now I feel like a regular race times 1,000. This is unbelievable. My gosh, this is incredible. It's indescribable. That's all I got. I'm sorry.
I can see what's going through your head right now. The emotions are coming. Congratulations to you, to the entire team, Mr. B. Wayne Hughes, Starlight Racing, My Racehorse, Madikit Stable. The opportunity is here to get a part of this wonderful sport. Authentic in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Authentic, a special horse, special once again here today. So what happened to Tiz the Law, Tom's d'Etat, as we take a look at the order of finish here, way down on the list?
Well, I mean, Tiz the Law was clearly uncomfortable inside horses. We talked about how he doesn't like to be there, but when they finally got him out near the top of the stretch, he didn't do much running, so you can't use that as really that much of an excuse.
No, just tip your hat to the winner. He ran a really good race, and Tom's d'Etat got in a little trouble, but not much.
Not much, and Maximum Security just outrun.
A classic race, a classic day. Couldn't have asked for better conditions, and look at that. A beautiful sunset to kiss us goodnight here. It's been beautiful at Keeneland Racecourse this entire weekend. 14 championship races now in the books. A special thanks to Equibase, the industry's official database for thoroughbred racing and statistics information. Coming up next, from one huge event to another, Notre Dame countdown to kickoff, and later tonight in primetime, #1 Clemson takes on #4 Notre Dame. For our entire NBC Sports crew, I'm Ahmed Fareed saying goodbye from Keeneland, where champions were crowned.